I've transmigrated into a terrible drama as the villain destined for a gruesome death. Other villains are ruthless and commit all sorts of evil deeds. But me, I'm a hardworking farmer, the third immortal. What's with the trope of the strong oppressing the weak like a vicious dog? I'm practically a saint, despite being the villain of the drama. Every time the female lead encounters trouble, her husband magically appears to save the day. And one isn't enough, she gets two. Even if I finally power up, there's the white-haired male number 3 ready to kill me instantly. Like, completely obliterate my head. The most infuriating thing is I'm actually engaged to that brain-dead female supporting character, Chongming. I must have dug up the author's ancestral grave or something. A drama this bad isn't worth watching. Let's all disperse, everyone. Then a flash of light. When I opened my eyes again, I was in a completely different setting. This antique dressing table, these expensive decorations, and this breathtakingly beautiful face. Or have I been kidnapped too? Wait, with dreams this realistic, the best thing to do is a physical test. Just pinch my delicate cheek, and I'll yell out in pain. Suddenly, a maid outside the door rushed in after hearing the noise. The news she brought made me tremble. What? The real daughter, who was mistakenly switched at birth, that has returned. So, it's a transmigration story. Isn't it just getting beaten to death? I've seen it all. In this situation, I think I'll just excuse myself. Before the maid could finish speaking, a crisp splash echoed throughout the room. The icy lake water actually calmed my thoughts. Rong Mingxian in the drama committed all sorts of evil deeds and cultivated forbidden techniques, revealing her demonic nature, which led to Bei Xiaochen killing her. So now, as long as I hide my identity and run away, I'll be fine, right? Haha. I'm gonna go and finish off the NPC, Master Rong's plotline. Master Rong, I'm coming for you. Hee. Master Rong solemnly spoke about the events of the switching at birth. This is clearly a death flag. In the original story, staying with the Rong family as an adopted daughter is what started all the trouble. But I know how to answer this question. I put on a mournful face, preparing for a series of dramatic moves. Suddenly, the figure behind me almost made me spit out my soda. It was Rong Feiyu, the female lead. Gotta say though, look at that beauty filter she has. As a simp, I really can't resist. Wait, father, were you just about to say Ningxuan? Your birth parents have passed away. From now on, you will stay here as our adopted daughter. Here it comes, the key plot point. To avoid getting killed off, I of course said, Father, you finally reunited. How could I take away his family? Just let me go back to where I came from. All from my birth mother. Seeing how filial I was, the female lead was moved and tearfully begged me to stay and live together. I was also teary-eyed. She's such a kind and strong girl. But my life is precious. Just then, the butler walked and holding my adorable dog. Just watching TV, and I transmigrate into the drama as the villain destined for a gruesome death. Either I'm cannon fodder, or I'm constantly on the verge of being killed. Even a female lead sister is willing to kill her husband to push me down, just as I was preparing to run away. Damn it, the butler just had to bring in my dog. Don't betray me now, Apple. In the original story, to get revenge on Rong Feiyu, the original character ordered someone to send a vicious dog to bite her. From then on, she continued down a path of self-destruction. It's like asking for death. And now, Feiyu seemed to have not heard my warning and walked towards the dog with a loving expression. Suddenly, the vicious dog trembled and lunged, ready to pin Feiyu to the ground. I flew forward and held Feiyu tightly in my arms. After a few rolls, the little cutie sat up, clutching her head. My sweet baby, are you okay? As they both screamed, I collapsed onto the cold floor without regret. Father, listen to me. Just let me leave. I understand, we understand. I will never let you leave and suffer, Mingxian. You protected me. I want to be your best friend forever. We'll never be apart. Hearing this, my blood pressure skyrocketed, practically spurting out of my skull. Why don't you just kill me now? Meanwhile, a white-haired man hid amongst the branches of a tree, a wicked smile playing on his lips. After the dog-blocking incident, I barely managed to survive for almost 10 days. The maids outside my door kept urging me to harass some respectable married man. What kind of villain gets to do good deeds like that? As a model citizen, I reluctantly went outside to take a look. The sight that greeted me nearly scared the crap out of me. It turned out to be the beautiful female lead, Rong Feiyu, bringing me medicine. What incredible luck, like a blessing from 8 lifetimes of burning incense. Then, Feiyu invited me to meet the mysterious senior who helped her women's group gather. So, this was the unsolved mystery that caused so much debate in the story. Now the truth was right in front of me. I had to get the gossip. Calm down. Haven't you heard that curiosity killed the cat? What's there to be afraid of? We'll just peek a little. Just a tiny peek. While my thoughts were jumping all over the place, the female lead hit me with a triple dose of sweetness, leaving me completely dumbfounded. Seriously, who could refuse an invitation from such a beautiful woman? Hee, father, I'm coming. Ming Xian, what are you wearing? Ghillie suit. Don't mind me. Just then, the female lead brought in a white-haired man. One transmigration into the drama as the tragically dying villain. And I was immediately smothered with affection by Meng Meng, the adorable dog. I barely managed to survive for 10 days, only to stumble upon a shocking secret in the story. Faced with the dilemma of saving my own skin versus getting the juicy gossip, I naturally chose the gossip. Who knew the newcomer would turn out to be the holy lord of all realms? Seeing Bei Xiaochun, I was instantly terrified. Why was it him? The same guy who ripped out the original owner's heart and lungs in the story, then smashed her into a pulp with a single slap. My sweet little darling. And that black uniform of yours. Are you wearing an eye mask now because you're afraid people won't recognize you? Calm down. I should still be able to survive this. As long as I'm quiet and sneaky, step by step, slowly thud, and give them a New Year's greeting. That should successfully attract everyone's attention. With tears in my eyes, I lamented the uselessness of my little blanket. Then, I frantically tried to straighten out the blanket on my head. Suddenly, Bei Xiaochun ripped it off. Watching this drama-like scene unfold, I blushed. Seeing this, my father panicked and immediately tried to make excuses for me. But Bei Xiaochun didn't say a word. He just threw down a jade green nail and turned to leave. Seeing this, I shakily got to my feet. Miss Rong is quite unique. You should be more careful with your head next time we meet. Hearing this, I was instantly speechless. Next time we meet, marry me. Dude, I'm begging you. Seeing this, Feiyu immediately rushed forward to ask if I was all right. But I was utterly despondent, contemplating which method of death would be the most peaceful. The little angel beside me frantically urged me to be optimistic. After all, when you're unlucky, you can choke to death on water. Hearing this, the female lead had a brilliant idea. Why don't we go to Yuan Temple to pray? They say the gods favor kind people. I immediately knelt down and begged the gods to send me back. Weren't Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and soda much better. However, it turns out that when you're unlucky, you're really unlucky. The gold-chained cousin in front of me was exclaiming about his good fortune today. I, on the other hand, was about to vomit with anger. Were your guards made of paper? How could they fall down so easily? In broad daylight, do you have any respect for the law? Girl, discretion is the better part of valor. It's okay for the female lead to be a little cowardly. Wait, female lead, don't worry about a few robbers. I'll even dig up Qin Shi Huang's tomb for you. With the protagonist backing, I had to seize the opportunity to show off. I immediately announced my family name, hoping to scare off the Long family's eldest daughter. Men, seize those two girls. What the heck? Female lead, please save me. Just then, a streak of light knocked the bandits back. The newcomer was dressed in elegant robes and had a handsome face. In broad daylight, how dare you break the law on my territory? You got some nerve. The man glanced at me. Well, I'll be going then. Highway robbery and attempted assault. A handsome guy appears out of nowhere to save the day. Seeing the newcomer, however, their grief lessened. Is this a loss of morality or a distortion of human nature? Who is Cheng Yanghao? He is the domineering Prince Xian of the noble royal family. Not only is he a righteous partner who saves the world, but he is also the dream lover of 1.9 billion girls. Yet, such a man despises me in every way. The original owner of this body was Prince Xian's fiancée, but due to jealousy, she caused trouble everywhere. Wang Yin, Miss Rong brought people and beat up girls from over 10 families just because they glanced at you in the crowd. Wang Yin, Miss Rong smashed up the restaurant you frequent. It's said it's because the proprietress's aunt wrote you a love poem. Wang Yin, Miss Rong went to the brothel to look for you, but stumbled upon Magistrate Zhao and Madame Lu's affair. Now, the two families are fighting at your door. When I watched the drama, I thought this supporting character had a problem with her brain. And now, seeing the newcomer as me, the prince instantly saw through the charade. After leaving harsh words, he intended to leave. Brother, I know it's a case of once bitten by a snake, 10 years afraid of, well, ropes, but please, save me. Seeing us acting out this bitter love-hate drama, my gold-chained cousin wasn't happy. He commanded his brothers to capture us. On the other hand, the prince was still nagging at me. Then his magic surged, and in a flash, he knocked down all these small fry. Good acting. You've worked hard to get close to me. Gold Chain Cousin was so angry his chain fell off. He took off his clothes and performed a scattering flowers from heaven. Countless eye-watering, pungent things floated directly towards the prince. The prince's lips twisted, and he instantly weakened, kneeling on the ground, unable to get up. You're really weak. Seeing this situation, I went forward with some concern. Unexpectedly, the prince gritted his teeth. With a shy expression on his face, tears in his eyes, and unyieldingly moaned, "Bastard. Even if you get my body, you won't get my heart." What the? Just like that, we were successfully kidnapped back to the bandit's lair. However, the prince beside me was still nagging at me. On the contrary, the female lead seemed more intelligent. Why wouldn't you even spare a young lady? Miss Rome from the Rome family has been kidnapped by bandits. What bandits? Where did the bandits come from? It's that group of people just now. Hearing this, the prince's expression faltered. What? They were actually bandits. You. 60. The prince flirts online, and the vicious bandit reaps a bountiful harvest. The two of them, a cunning wolf and a cunning fox, enter the prison. As the saying goes, the greatest tragedy in life is the loss of freedom. Prince, aren't you a cultivator from the Yuanxian realm? This kind of rope should be easy to deal with. Unexpectedly, the prince shyly described his weakness and powerlessness. The female lead, on the other hand, was more resourceful, suggesting finding a stone to cut the ropes. After a thorough search, the prince lived up to expectations and found the key item. Truly worthy of being the male lead. I told you to find a stone, not to cheat. I then went forward with expectant eyes, seeking a solution. Suddenly, a cold light flashed. The sharp little stone suddenly pierced my chest. Absolutely not. Given his disgust for me, it's too dangerous. Then, I immediately brought the female lead over. A little higher up. Okay, is it here? Yes, right there. Use a little more force. Then the two began to take turns sawing at the rope. This kind of pay-per-view scene from a TV drama is really exciting. I directly transformed into the mastermind, giving directions from the side. Suddenly, a snap interrupted their criminal activity. Rong Feiyu, aren't you a cultivator too? What were you doing before? I completely forgot. After solving the rope problem, the male and female leads began to teach me how to whisper in Cantonese. But I don't understand the principle you're talking about at all. Could be like just now, using brute force. Are you an idiot? You've attracted everyone. Seeing this, the female lead was also a bit helpless, urging us to run quickly. The next moment, two figures prostrated themselves behind me. I can't go on. I don't have any strength left. I've sprained my ankle. Don't worry about me. Just go. Don't play these decades-old tropes anymore. What good will come from abandoning the protagonists and running away? Suddenly, a stream of light shot straight towards me. The male and female leads were flung far away by me. When I came to my senses, Gold Chain Cousin was already standing before me, a cruel look in his eyes. What a disobedient little missy, he sneered. It seems I need to teach you a lesson. With a burst of crimson, blood like teardrops stained my cheeks. This is my territory. You can't run wild here. Our escape attempt failed. Prince Xian shielded me from the sawhammer. My little darling has grown up. A radiant light emanated from Bei Xiaochun, pushing back my cousin. How late-alike. The drug should still be effective for a few more hours. I guess right. Bei Xiaochun, on the other hand, was completely composed. Countless wisps of energy surged from within him. The bloodline of the Wu Chengyang clan will incinerate you all. Seeing this, I couldn't help but shed tears of gratitude. Slay him. He's amazing. Suddenly, a thought flashed through my mind. He shielded me with his own body. Could it be? Hey, do you like me? The prince spat out his drink in surprise, then turned around to argue. Explain yourself clearly. Rekindling old flames could be dangerous for me. With those charming words, he pulled up his pants and tossed me away. Clearly, the female lead is more considerate. As his underlings gathered, Gold-Chained Cousin started spouting empty threats. This only fueled the prince's rage. Endless fury surged around him. It's all your fault. I was tied up like a meatball and touched in strange places by a woman. You'll all pay the price. Immense power gathered between his hands. as his palms crashed down and endless brilliance erupted. These special effects are totally 4D Max. The scene is absolutely exploding. Yeah, the effects are truly explosive. Looking in the direction the female lead flew, I saw a fissure twice my size appear before my eyes. Help! After a period of darkness, I vaguely heard someone calling my name, but it felt so soft, so tender. I opened my eyes to see the female lead, slightly breathless, calling out to me shyly. "I am so sorry. I didn't mean to." She said that, but the sensation was so real. Who could resist savoring it? It was as if that softness was still in my hand. "Rong Feiyu, how long are you going to keep touching?" "What the heck?" The prince, regaining his senses, abruptly listed my offenses. Oh my god, it turns out this is a blessed golden right hand. But I still had to play innocent after taking advantage. So, I reluctantly soothed their ruffled feathers. Because of the explosion, we fell from a height of 10,000 meters. As for why we haven't died yet, it's because Newton doesn't rule here. The prince started shyly justifying his actions. All right, why don't you go up there? Weren't you pretty tough just now?" "That's because I used a secret technique. I'm a little weak afterward." I could only sigh. He's truly a hopeless case. If I forcibly carried them both up, we'd be sitting ducks for the bandits. It seems we have to find another way out. With that, I pulled the delicate female lead into my arms. "Hey, do you need me to help you walk?" A sudden hush fell over the cave, but following the direction indicated by the whispers, I noticed countless dark red eyes lurking in the corners. The protagonist team accidentally fell off a cliff. The golden right hand steals the spotlight. Who is Prince Xian? Every day, he rises from his 60-meter-wide, silk-feathered bed, greeted by respectful maids on either side. He enjoys the finest food, even having his fish bones meticulously removed. Such an environment has cultivated Prince Xian's obsession with cleanliness. And the thing he fears most is the little bugs next to Rong Feiyu. "Stop rushing me. Didn't you refuse to die in the last episode?" Seeing that we were about to be buried alive, the prince pulled out a grenade and chose to self-destruct. "You're such a dog. You have a grenade and you don't use it on me." Thanks to the prince's heroic sacrifice, we successfully escaped the bone ants. Gasping for breath, I asked about the situation. The prince looked like he'd swallowed something unpleasant. Clearly, the matter wasn't resolved. The female lead, on the other hand, explained shakily, "The goo worms live underground all year round and are afraid of light and fire." Seeing the prince wanting to say more, our gazes were already locked on him. "Your Highness," I said, "you're wearing so many layers. Burning one shouldn't be a problem, right?" "Are you kidding me? Is His Highness supposed to use a lady's garment to burn? Aren't you afraid the viewers will be all over you?" Unexpectedly, the prince was self-righteous. "My robes are all top quality, resistant to both water and fire. Maximum effectiveness guaranteed." "Well then, take off your pants." After a bout of shy resistance, the light of righteousness once again shone upon the earth. Looking at the familiar scenery before me, I couldn't help but feel a myriad of emotions. Wait a minute, isn't this scene supposed to happen a month later? At that time, Feiyu, humiliated, went out to clear her head and happened to meet Prince Xian. During their fight with the fugitives, they accidentally fell into the chasm. Then, the injured prince and the relatively weaker Feiyu supported each other, creating a touch of sweet romance amidst the underground crisis. I never thought it would turn into burning pants now. Shao Danqian, I'm sorry. It's all because of this stupid hole. Why did it appear so early? I wasn't prepared at all. Suddenly, countless ants swarmed out. I immediately raised my torch and swung it wildly. The ants, on the other hand, trembled and slowly retreated. Then Meng Meng urged me to run quickly, since the princes, that wouldn't burn for long. On the way, I couldn't help but worry about Feiyu's ankle. Compared to that, there seems to be a bigger crisis over there. Your Highness, you don't have to be so elegant while escaping. Shut up. You try running with a stick between your legs and see how you do. After a period of running, the opening of the cave gradually brightened. Then, what came into view was a silvery white cup sparkling with starlight. The female lead couldn't help but be moved. A sudden gust of cold wind blew. Your Highness, do you have any more fuel? You started the fire, you deal with it. As we were arguing, the swarming ants once again forced us into a desperate situation. Burning pants, shield the front, Shy Prince clears the way. Unfortunately, the heavens weren't on our side. They're coming. Your Highness, Hurry and take them off. Just then, Ming Ming stopped my crude actions. A faint, rosy glow enveloped the swarming ants. It seems they're afraid of the moonlight from the opening. Seeing this, I was greatly relieved. After all, the prince's modesty was preserved. However, as expected, the unexpected happened. My killer instinct awakened, and I jumped out again. The ants retreated once more. After all, the protagonist was present. The heavens still gave us some face. After several ups and downs, we were too exhausted to stand up straight. This won't do. We have to find a way to blast open the entrance. Seeing this, the delicate prince generously offered his treasured, years-old self-destructing grenade. The female lead, on the other hand, looked thoughtful. She was pondering whether the spiritual plants above were poisonous. I was a bit surprised. According to the plot, Feiyu should already know about this. Unexpectedly, Feiyu's expression was slightly troubled. She then explained with some helplessness, "I haven't been back to the Rong family for long. I've never seen such spiritual plants before." That's true. The female lead at this point in the timeline hasn't learned anything yet. I then eloquently explained the wondrous effects of the joyful gloom grass. After all, this is a key item later in the plot. Since everything is ready, the climbing should naturally be left to the slowest person here. Wait, I don't even have any pants on right now. If I go up like this, won't this woman see everything? Then, the prince entrusted this important task to me. But isn't this your part of the story? After some arguing, I finally bore this weight I shouldn't have to bear. Suddenly, the moonlight dimmed again, and countless ants diligently attacked. The prince hurriedly raised his hand to defend, clicking his tongue in annoyance. He then urged me to hurry up. All right, I'm almost there. With the indestructible object in my hand, the rocks beneath my feet conveniently gave way. How could I not know such a cliché plot? I'll just use a monkey up a grease pole tactic. All right, I choose you. Go, exploding rock bomb. Throws with a flourish. The bomb flew towards the entrance at a reasonable angle, but the -5.32 wind and the steam blasted me right out. You can't do this to me. Just then, a flash of silver gracefully delivered me safely to the ground. My sweetheart, seeing this, immediately came to check on me. But why? Does it seem like I'm missing some of my herbs? At this moment, a silver figure was hidden behind a boulder. Although I was unharmed, the entrance remained intact. But surprisingly, our prince woke up again. With a flash of lightning and sparks, a magnificent display of special effects had everyone applauding, as expected of the prince, transmigrating into the tragic villain of the story. First, a giant eagle bravely plays the dog, then the prince kowtows online. This bloody lesson tells me to stay away from the male and female leads, especially that Bei Xiaochan, who smashed my head in. But if I directly distance myself from the female lead, I'm afraid of being mistaken for being arrogant and malicious. Since I can't escape, I'll make her addicted to studying. I remember the female lead in the story loved reading. There's also a cheat-like, overpowered manual left by her mother. As long as she gets it and becomes completely engrossed with my rich girl status, won't I be set for life? Let's do it. Daddy, here I come. However, the scene before me made me shudder. No, it must be an illusion. Why am I seeing the Grim Reaper? Before I could play dumb, Bei Xiaochan barged in. "Excuse me, sir, entering a young lady's room seems inappropriate, doesn't it?" Seeing this, the big shot pondered for a moment, and with a flick of his finger, pulled me out of the room. "You didn't let you in, but you didn't say I couldn't come out." Seeing my escape attempt fail, I could only humbly clench my fingers and greet him respectfully. The big shot, on the other hand, remained indifferent. "Do you know who Zhang Huaying is? Do you know Rong Feiyu, your senior sister, the renowned alchemist and spiritual plant master?" Before I could finish, a swift chop to the neck turned me into jelly. "Absolutely not." A death question right off the bat. I just laughed it off. "Then how did you know about moon slipgrass?" "This is something senior sister spent years researching." What the heck? Does the author also like plot holes? I saw it in an ancient text. Suddenly, a ticking sound rang out. Oh no, a monthly lie detector test, and you're using it on me. Seeing this, the big shot became more aggressive, while I was already too scared to speak. So even the heart-questioning mirror knows. This is bad. I'm going to die. Suddenly, the big shot's expression changed. Is he going to kill me now? Help! In my panic, I accidentally knocked off his mask. When I opened my eyes again, a breathtakingly handsome face was right in front of me. And this scene was witnessed by Feiyu, who had come to visit. Such a suggestive scene. It's hard not to let the imagination run wild. So, your senior sister's child swapped identities with you. Could it really be a coincidence? I don't know. It wasn't on TV, Seeing my denial, the mirror in his hand lost its green glow. One last question. What do you want a jade book for? Answer in 3 seconds or I'll kill you. I want Feiyu to get the jade book, so she'll ignore the outside world and focus only on her studies. Seeing the mirror glow green, Bei Xiaochun clicked his tongue dismissively. You're disappointed I didn't kill you, aren't you? With that, he turned to leave. If I offended you in any way, just bear with it. As Bei Xiaochun left, my legs gave way and I collapsed. Mom, I survived. I immediately started celebrating the beauty of life. Right, I still have some questions. I'll visit Miss Rome again next time. Why don't you just delete me? At this moment, a strange restlessness surged in Feiyu's heart. A sexy wolf taming a shy girl. How exciting. Big brother, please spare me. In the darkness, a gentle voice kept calling my name. I looked towards the source of the voice. The white-haired man smirked and offered me his hand, beckoning me towards Ming Xuan's pavilion. No, mother, I'm scared. Snapping back to reality, I frantically wiped the sweat from my forehead. Miss, your esteemed guest is here to see you again. Hearing that it wasn't Bei Xiaochun, I was moved to tears. But why would Prince Xian come looking for me? Is there more to the plot? Listening to the maid's flattery, I couldn't help but recall my past interactions with the prince. You know, like having him thrown in jail, hitting him with a giant hammer, touching his butt, then burning his pants. Minor details. He's probably here to silence me. How could? Your Highness, you and she have a marriage agreement. It's only natural for you to be concerned. By the way, this opens up possibilities, doesn't it? In the story, Rong Feiyu's father had a debt to the old prince, which led to the marriage agreement between their children. As a result, I become an obstacle in this little love story. Now's the perfect time to use the prince's dislike for me to escape this mess. That's right, my little darling has come to break off the engagement. Moments later, the sound of arguing came from inside the room. What? The NPC dad won't agree to break off the engagement. Seeing this, I launched myself into my father's arms, crying, "Oh, my dear father, please just agree." The prince chimed in supportively from his side. I didn't expect this little rascal to support me like this. Love you. Suddenly, a large pot lid was slammed onto my head. The prince, on the other hand, looked pleased. A pot lid as an engagement gift. Are you here to fight? The prince scoffed. Are you that eager to marry me? I want you to break the engagement, you idiot. I'm not trying to die yet. Rong Feiyu, you dare look down on me. So, break the engagement then. Or are you going to marry me? I'd rather die out here, jump off this cliff, than marry you. You won't marry me. Then the engagement is off. Seeing the situation escalate, the prince resorted to the parental decree argument. Not marrying me, so indecisive. Are you even a man? Shut up. This engagement is off. Before I could even react, the prince stormed off. Elsewhere, a group of maids gossiped about Feiyu's misfortune. Meanwhile, that vicious servant was outwardly obedient, but secretly sowing discord between Feiyu and me. Feiyu's face darkened. She stood up and shouted, "Someone drag this person out and beat them." She was once a wealthy young lady. But due to misfortune, she ended up on the streets. Not only did she become a servant, that she even fell off a cliff and nearly died. Now she's back in the Rong family, and she's vowed to drive out anyone who bullied her. Suddenly, a probe appeared. Big brother, this doesn't fit your sweet little darling persona. Whatever. No one's ever cared about me anyway. The probe smirked. No way, no way. Don't tell me it's really because of that Rong Feiyu. Feiyu chimed in. At least he didn't make me fall down like you did. Rumor has it that he's stupid and vicious and definitely planning to do something unspeakable to you. Feiyu laughed even harder. This angered the probe. A trashy kid like you actually believes other people's lies. You really think someone in this world would genuinely care about you? Before he could finish, a hand grabbed him. With a surge of power, the probe vanished into smoke. My business is none of your concern. How about we make a bet? You know what the stakes are. Meanwhile, I was enjoying a relaxing afternoon massage. This is what leisure is. This is what peace is. This is how transmigration should be. As long as I stay away from the plot characters, I can live a good life. Just as I was about to settle into my peaceful retirement, a shout startled me. Rong Feiyu, this isn't where you should be. I looked towards a voice. A purple-haired woman was loudly cursing in the street. Beside her, Rong Feiyu was already sobbing uncontrollably. Looking closely, wasn't this person one of the female lead's former lackeys? To think she'd try to climb the ranks, even without a leader. Seeing this, I couldn't help but pray for her. I hope she's still alive. Suddenly, my body shuddered. The window slammed open and a watermelon plummeted directly onto Zimao's head. Seeing this, Feiyu immediately lost her composure. Zimao was even more furious, gnashing her teeth. What the heck? I really didn't do it on purpose. Whatever, time to run. This incident, coincidentally, resolved Feiyu's crisis. Looking back at the pavilion, Feiyu was filled with a myriad of thoughts. My Mingxian, you're truly amazing. A moment later, back in her room, Feiyu sat happily. His victory declaration was all a lie. He clearly knocked it off accidentally. Feiyu, on the other hand, was completely calm. If you disagree, our bet is still on. This made Bei Xiaochen pause. If it's a lie, then let him deceive me for a lifetime. But if it's true, I'm willing to be with him for all eternity. Having transmigrated into this drama, as the tragically deceased villain, I was supposed to lead the humiliation of the female lead. But now, because I dropped a watermelon on my former lackey, I have to cultivate with the female lead. What's going on? At this moment, I was listening to my father talk about Feiyu's request. Absolutely not. Competing with the protagonist for resources is suicide. Feiyu then grabbed my hand and squeezed it. You touched me. She was determined to share all good things with me. I blushed, truly worthy of being my mother's thoughtful little boy. Just then, the butler burst through the door. Master, second master, is here to settle the score with Miss. Everyone was startled. A group of burly men were forcing their way in. The newcomer was aggressive, determined to get an explanation. My father stepped forward and had a heated argument with second master. I feel so bad for my little boy. It was clearly their fault first, but now they're twisting the facts. Maybe I should just marry him in his place. Rong Mingxian, don't think I don't know it was you. What the heck? Why are they looking for me? Are they too cowardly to admit they threw a melon at me this morning? So it really is my fault. Second master then demanded I kneel and apologize. This angered my protective father. A choice insult was hurled directly at second master's face. Seeing the argument going nowhere, the two instantly clashed. Such rustic customs like a grand tournament, with the clash of their powers. Both were forced back several steps. Seeing this, Feiyu intended to intervene. I quickly raised my hand to stop her. Since this started because of me, let me resolve it. Logically, I hit you with a melon, so I'll let you hit me back with one, right? The villainous woman and I exchanged looks. Then, with a wicked smile, I said, bring me a melon. Seeing Feiyu's worry, I reassured her. It's just a small melon. Don't act like it's some prize-winning watermelon. Before I could react, a giant watermelon came hurtling towards me. Holy crap. Brother Hua Chong, save me. Damn it, I have no choice. With a loud explosion, I emerged from the melon completely unharmed. Suddenly, a comment caught everyone's attention. I looked towards the voice and saw a white-haired man casually sitting in midair. This melon is really sweet, transmigrating into this drama as the tragically deceased villain. First, my lackey throws a melon at someone, then I attract a big shot to eat melon online. May I ask if you intend to leave anyone alive? Just a simple melon-eating bystander. Seeing this man standing in the air, my cowardly father immediately backed down. This is a Rong family matter. Please don't interfere. The big shot smirked and landed, ready to fight. My father, however, seemed somewhat composed. He quickly stopped the big shot's attempt to interfere. This angered the big shot. A sudden image flashed in my mind. This is between us. Stay out of it. Why are you being so cold? Everyone is so annoying. A sinister look grew on my face. I quickly moved closer to my adopted daughter. No way. Officer, I haven't done anything wrong. The big boss pointed rather wickedly at the villainous woman behind him. Don't you want me to do something? I just need to stay away from her. The big boss obediently clapped her hands. Then she unleashed a powerful bolt of lightning. The villain was sent flying like a replay. Is this far enough? I told you to stay away from her, not send her flying. Oh, you meant stay away from her. Absolutely not. You're my benefactor, my dear. Since that's the case, do me a little favor. Oh, yes, of course. Tell me. Bei Xiaochen slowly approached. Suddenly, a soft voice whispered in my ear, I only want you. The scene changed. A black figure was cursing. You almost blew our cover for a woman. Are you afraid Bei Xiaochen can't kill us? Rong Feiyu, on the other hand, remained silent. Seeing this, the black figure became even angrier. Enough. Give me that thing. The black figure looked at me, somewhat stunned. I need to go to the conference, get that thing, and restore your power. That mortal trash. How dare they lay a hand on my Mingxian? They must be eliminated. Elsewhere, the lackey, Zimao, was lamenting his father's tragic experiences. Don't worry, sister. After the Yan'an conference, I'll make that Rong Mingxian your slave. He was originally the strongest in the story, but because of old feelings, he followed the Rong family. Now, I have to take the fall for fighting the villains. Speaking softly, I need you to use Munyo grass to refine the Shui Dan for decoding. I remember one thing. Before transmigrating, fans were discussing Bei Xiaoqin's current downfall. He's hopeless. Just give up on him. The big boss was startled, then burst out laughing. You know quite a lot, don't you? What the heck? I just let it slip. It's not like that. Let me explain. But Bei Xiaoqin didn't seem to mind. Don't worry. After all, I still need your help, right? Seeing the situation take a turn for the worse, Rong Feiyu quickly grabbed my hand and stepped forward. It's fine. I'm here, so there's no need to trouble Senior. This gesture made the big boss pause. If I find out you're wasting Senior's sister's efforts. She then snorted coldly and vanished into thin air. Mingxian, since Senior has requested it, let's begin our dual cultivation. I was overjoyed. Final exams are coming up. A moment later, Rong Feiyu was diligently studying, writing down the effects of various herbs. May I ask, what's the difference between Ma Dongmei poison, Du Dongmei poison, and Piao Dongmei poison? The difference? It's blah 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 blah. So to summarize, it's abla abla abla. The next day, I used the excuse of gathering intel to escape Rong Feiyu. I didn't expect mystical alchemy to be more terrifying than math and science. But compared to this, Zimao's grudge against Rong Kuanchong is the bigger problem. Although the head of the Rong family is the patriarch, his eldest daughter is a useless good-for-nothing. Therefore, the highly talented Rong Kuanchong became the family's hope. Suddenly, a voice behind me made me freeze. The sight of the person made me turn to stone. Rong Mingxian, you dare to have someone hurt my father. Help! The next moment, Zimao suddenly appeared in front of me. Help! Someone's trying to attack an innocent girl. He. Even if you scream your lungs out. You shameless villain. Stop right there. Why does this scene seem so familiar? Xian Wang turned around handsomely and locked eyes with me. How are you? He was the domineering Xian Wang of the royal family. But after being rejected and leaving the Rong family, the heartbroken prince drowned his sorrows in alcohol. Xian Wang was furious. Why had he been so argumentative back then? Seeing the situation, the prince, with nowhere to vent his frustration, decided to find fault with his jurisdiction. Unexpectedly, his administration had been so effective that not even a minor incident had occurred. Suddenly, a delicate voice drifted from afar. He looked closely. Why is it always you? He then turned to check on the victim's condition. Zimao shakily lifted his whiplashed, swollen face. What? You're Rong Kuanchong, Rong Ningxuan's cousin. Immense fear instantly welled up. No way. It's you again. Arson and fraud will land you in jail. With that, he turned and fled. No, Xian Wang, wait. Let me explain. Suddenly, a low groan came from behind. Rong Mingxian, you actually let Xian Wang hit me. I'm going to tell grandfather. What the heck? Don't put all the blame on me. A moment later, I told Feiyu about this. What? You're saying grandfather has already been won over. I'm sorry, I also offended Rong Kuanchong today. He'll probably take it out on you and father. Feiyu remained positive and optimistic, encouraging me to face the difficulties bravely. Don't worry, I'll resolve these problems for you completely. Seeing this, my eyes welled up. What a naive and kind little angel. Don't be afraid, sweetie. Mommy will protect you. Although that hadn't happened yet, as someone who transmigrated, I knew it clearly. At that moment, inside Xian Wang's palace, I'd rather die out here than let you see that woman. But Miss Rong said if you give her a stick of incense's worth of time, she'll leave you alone for a month. Wen Yin, Xian Wang pondered for a moment, and after some internal struggle, fine. A moment later, the resigned prince urged me to finish quickly. First of all, we have a terrible relationship with Rong Kuanchong's family. I absolutely wasn't lying this morning. Don't waste time on this kind of thing. So, Rong Kuanchong's family's crimes have nothing to do with our family. Xian Wang paused, his expression hardening. As I finished speaking, Xian Wang's face grew darker. After my explanation, the atmosphere became icy. If you're lying, this isn't something a simple joke can excuse. It's true. Your Highness can investigate yourself. So, you came here today just for this? Of course not. There's no such thing as a free lunch. I then brought out my child. Feiyu will definitely defeat Rong Kuanchong and become the champion of the Grand Banquet. Therefore, I hope your highness will support him in becoming the next head of the Rong family. Xianwang's consort was furious on Zhao Kunken's behalf. Give a house back. Meanwhile, back at the estate, Kunken was sulking and reporting my heroic deeds to the elders. Without waiting for the Grand Elder to ask, the second elder launched into a tirade against me, determined to make me pay. In contrast, the third elder was more rational, suggesting they understand the reason before issuing punishment. After some arguing, the Grand Elder abruptly pointed, summoned the family head and his virtuous daughter. Seeing his plan succeed, Kunken happily started scheming. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration struck me. I made a grand entrance with my child. Rongningshin, were Kunken and his father's injuries caused by you? I thought for a moment. Yes, it was me. No way, dude. I had my fake confession already. Put up a fight. Do something. Seeing this, the second elder became even more aggressive, wanting to charge me with harming a fellow clan member. Right. So, about Kunken's father bringing people to injure my father a few days ago. I hope the elders will address that as well. Second elder is so impartial and just. I'm sure he wouldn't abuse his power, right? Seeing the tense situation, the Grand Elder could only order both matters to be punished together. He then turned to me coldly. The Rong family is a family of alchemists, yet you know nothing about alchemy. You're a disgrace to your father. I'm not his biological child. Isn't that normal? This stunned everyone present. Even the disciples below began discussing my ultimate audacity. But, as expected, the only one who cared about me was my own child. Esteemed elders, I understand perfectly. To compete for the position of family head, one must achieve results at the Yan'an conference. I'm not of Rong family blood, so naturally, I shouldn't participate in this matter. Second elder, Wen Yin, cast a look of relief in my direction. So the candidate for this generation is, without a doubt, my Feiyu. Wen Yin and the others cast doubtful glances again. Meanwhile, Kunken snorted with laughter. This village girl from the countryside actually dares to compete. Let me tell you, only the Dan Master with the highest talent can become the family head. Yes, so. As long as we prove Feiyu's talent far surpasses yours, that will be enough, right? How do we prove it? Wait for her to study for a few decades. My old face flushed. At the Yan'an conference 5 months from now, she will definitely be at the top of the rankings. Wen Yin and Kunken wanted to spout more nonsense, but I directly slapped them with a beautiful tiger. So, what will you wager against me? If you win, the position of family head will be yours. Agreed. The position of family head is not something to be gambled with. Third elder, don't be hasty. It's just a little squabble between juniors. Just as the two were arguing, a handsome young man slowly approached. Such an interesting wager. Allow this prince to be a witness. Having transmigrated into the tragic villain of the story, I now even have a freeloading father. In the story, although Long Han is the female lead's father and has a powerful background, he's a real freeloader and slacker. But today, thanks to my thoughtful arrangements, he's been put to good use. To help Feiyu compete for the position of family head, I offered my father's inheritance rights as a wager. I thought I would be scolded, but unexpectedly, my father adopted a "you kids do whatever you want" attitude. Such doting behavior. Are you afraid I won't become arrogant and unruly? As he spoke, my father even prepared cozy little jackets for us. Seeing this, I quickly stopped him. We need some guidance that will help us with the competition. My father agreed wholeheartedly. However, as it turned out, baby, are you hungry? Have something to eat. Baby, are you thirsty? Have some soup. It's good for studying. Baby, you've been studying for 5 minutes now. I'll have the maids give you a massage to relax. After all this, we successfully drove my father out of the room. He, on the other hand, sighed helplessly. Then he said with some relief, "Huang, our daughter is just like you." But before he could finish, a figure suddenly appeared behind him. So what if she's incompetent? As long as she can be happy and carefree, that's enough. Incompetent people won't be noticed, but they also won't be respected. If someone attacks her, how will she defend herself? The weak cannot protect themselves. Now she wants to become stronger, so I will help her. And you don't have the power to stop me. With that, Bei Shaoqin stepped into the void and left. Watching his departing figure, my father secretly made up his mind. The next day, my father excitedly brought us some help. We looked at him with suspicion. My father, however, gave a wicked smile. Then he revealed his treasured 800-year-old 3-year pill recipe and 5-year dam-making technique. I nearly suffocated on the spot. Fei Yu, on the other hand, had stars in her eyes. Just like that, we happily immersed ourselves in the ocean of knowledge. A few days later, having learned the basics, we moved on to the practical training. The most important thing in dan-making is the control of Yuanli, my father said as he injected the blazing green fire in his hand into the top of the furnace. Looking at the dazzling spectacle before me, I couldn't help but marvel at this mystical world. At that moment, my father seemed to notice my fascination and coaxed me into trying it myself. I reluctantly stepped forward. I haven't even practiced releasing Yuanli. This should be fine, right? Following my father's instructions, I successfully injected the flames into the furnace. Slowly, gently, with a loud bang. Master Rong's beloved furnace, his companion of over 10 years, finally exploded, having transmigrated into the tragic villain of the story. That it's either intimate cuddles with vicious dogs or violent headbutts with giant rocks. And now I'm half paralyzed thanks to a single exploding furnace. I'm seriously done with this troll. Thanks to my expert handling, Dad's alchemy lab is now successfully razed to the ground. Even Dad is bedridden from the mental trauma. Meanwhile, Bei Xiaochen is over there, showing off his 8-pack abs while roaring with laughter. I've never seen anything so funny in my life. Seeing this, Fei Yu is grinning from ear to ear, inwardly scheming, and urging the big shot to just pay up and be done with it. The big shot could only tearfully hand over the money. Then, a surge of spiritual energy spread out from his hand. Suddenly, a sense of foreboding washed over me. This scared Fei Yu quite a bit. She hurriedly asked about my condition. I can't. Ah ha ha. I can't hold it in anymore. Ah ha 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 ha. After a fit of uncontrollable laughter, I finally recovered enough to get out of bed. Seeing that I was out of danger, Bei Xiaochen decided to leave. I'll go find you a 10-point furnace so you don't get puffed. Ha ha ha. After seeing him off, the room returned to its rare tranquility. Fei Yu, who was at my side, kept checking on me. I apologized profusely. I'm so sorry. I messed up again. If I ruined the ingredients, and it affects your performance at the conference. I only saw Fei Yu's lips curve into a smile. Why does Ningxuan think I can get a good ranking at the conference? I was born in the countryside. I'm inexperienced. How can I compare to the geniuses in the city? I was speechless. I couldn't exactly tell her it was written in the script. Then I softly said to Fei Yu, just pretend I had a prophetic dream. I foresee your future filled with brilliant glory. My words made Fei Yu blush. She turned and rushed towards the study. I'm going to memorize 20 more. A moment later, I lay on the bed, lost in thought. Even though Fei Yu didn't mind, I felt so guilty. There's a limit to being talentless. I'm seriously done with the troll who sent me here. No, I have to make good use of my script advantage. I remember in the story, Kunkin caused a lot of trouble for Fei Yu. Besides some petty tricks, the most important thing was the condensation technique for medicinal power. This kind of technique can only be mastered through countless practice and accumulated experience. Fei Yu, who just started learning alchemy, is obviously at a disadvantage. But how can I help her? Suddenly, a bold idea popped into my head. Since I'm free anyway, I might as well try it. A few days later, Fei Yu's power greatly increased through dedicated cultivation. With the burst of spiritual energy within her, Fei Yu successfully reached the Yuan Dan stage. Seeing this, her proud father happily stepped forward to praise her. Even the big shot, who appeared suddenly, couldn't help but praise her. Well done. Consider this furnace your reward. He then grinned and said he wanted to see my crime scene. Led by Dad, the two of them arrived at this luxurious, open-air villa. However, the big shot's expression turned serious. He walked straight into the house. Then, his face darkened. I found something interesting, haven't I? At this moment, unaware of the impending danger, I was happily walking down the road, hugging my precious textbook. Study hard in math and science, and you won't be afraid even if you time travel to ancient times. Diligent cultivation leads to the peak of power. I'll just smack you in the face with some advanced calculus. Currently, everyone is on high alert. And the reason for all this is because I was doing some physics-based alchemy in the kitchen. Thinking back before I time traveled, I was also a diligent student. Following the memories in my mind, I started some intense mental calculations. The loud noises attracted Fei Yu's attention. Ningxuan, are you making something delicious? Seeing who it was, I was overjoyed. I quickly pulled Fei Yu along to refine some pills. Fei Yu, on the other hand, had a grim expression looking like she was going to her death. I said, "It's not that serious, is it?" A moment later, Feiyu and I arrived in the alchemy room. As Feiyu poured in the ingredients, pills continuously formed in her hands. As expected of the female lead, she's truly amazing. However, Feiyu seemed a little worried. She was struggling with refining the medicinal power. "Don't worry, darling. I'll show you my secret weapon." After a passionate interlude, a batch of even purer pills appeared before our eyes. Seeing this, Feiyu was quite surprised. What was that liquid Mingxian just used? The purity of the Danyao has actually increased this much. Wen Yin gave a wicked smile. This is the power of science. Under normal circumstances, alchemists choose semen with a thick concentration of medicinal particles for pill refinement. However, the distillation method can extract the medicinal particles from the raw materials as much as possible. Thinking of helping you, I tried a little. Lin Xian, do you know what you've done? This is something that could change the future of alchemy. If it's exposed, you'll be in extreme danger. I'm not worried about that at all. Don't worry, it's because it's you that I'm holding nothing back. These words struck Feiyu's chest like a sword. She clenched her fists darkly. Don't worry, I won't let anyone leak it. A moment later, Feiyu and I discussed the equipment issue. It would be great if there was a tool person who could make distillation equipment and wasn't afraid of powerful forces. Suddenly, the figure of a handsome man flashed through our minds. Who is Prince Xian? Not only is he a righteous partner who upholds justice, but he's also a skilled craftsman in jade carving. Speaking of which, that woman is here again. That damn woman promised she wouldn't bother me for a month. A moment later, I arrived at Prince Xian's palace as planned. Your Highness, this is a great invention that will revolutionize alchemy. It will definitely lead the trend. If it were a technique for exploding pills, then forget it. After my explanation, the prince also understood the great efficacy of this technology. If there are enough samples, I might believe what you say. Precisely because of this, I unfurled the cloth in my hands. I hope your highness can carve the distillation equipment according to the blueprints. You're saying you wanted to be your tool person. That's right. After a bit of activity, countless beautiful words poured out of the prince's mouth. It's only because of your noble status that you're qualified to make this precious equipment. The prince was speechless. So what do you say? Will you do it or not? Having successfully tricked my tool person, I walked home joyfully. At that moment, a figure suddenly appeared. Miss Rome, Bay has been waiting for you. One moment I'm transmigrated into a doomed villain. The next I'm facing a clingy, white-haired, pretty boy. Do I choose to die on the spot or turn around and die? Perhaps I should first understand the situation. I squeezed out a smile uglier than crying. Big shot, I have a small question. I'm just here to see if I should chop you up. Small my ass. Don't always resort to killing people. Saying this, Big Shot pulled out a pill furnace fragment and slowly said, this fragment contains some violent power that even I haven't seen before, combined with everything I knew before. Miss Rome, the surprises you hold are becoming more and more numerous. Just as I was about to escape, a strange force dragged me into the air. With the continuous condensation of blue chains, whoosh, I was pulled to a strange place. Miss Rome, don't panic. Let Bay examine you thoroughly. Absolutely not. That kind of thing is fine in private, but not this kind of heart and soul-bearing thing. Saying this, Bei Xiaochun reached out his sinful hands towards me. Mom, I was wrong. I shouldn't watch dramas before finishing my homework. However, the scene you're expecting didn't happen. Dude, are you giving me a pregnancy test? Otherwise, Bei Xiaochun seemed to have discovered something and was greatly shocked. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Seeing this scene, I panicked a little. With such trash talent, I'm not even worthy of being a one-scene extra. But there's indeed a very strange power within you. And you also know everything that happened before. I hope Miss Rome can enlighten me. Oh, that. Actually, I'm gifted and can predict the future. Do you believe it? Really? I don't believe it. I was on the verge of tears. I couldn't possibly say I saw it on TV, could I? Recalling the drama, after Bei Xiaochun took Feiyu as his disciple, he reserved all his tenderness for her alone, until he discovered Prince Xian's feelings for Feiyu. This old guy then turned into a brat and tormented Prince Xian, contributing a lot of comedic moments. It seems that Prince Xian is a good starting point. Sorry, Prince, but if I have to die, I'm taking you with me. Immediately, I put on a crying face and said in a delicate voice, sob, sob, sob. Senior, I also have some unspeakable secrets, but I absolutely won't do anything that's harmful to Feiyu. And Father also told me to find a man who will cherish her and let her enjoy life. Big Shot's face darkened at these words. Just who is this presumptuous fool? Meanwhile, I was inwardly delighted. He's getting anxious. He's actually anxious. Yes, I know Fei Yu is very important to you. Arranged marriages are unacceptable. Big Shot snorted. You're smart. After all, Fei Yu, she's my most important niece. An awkward silence filled the air. Transmigrated into this world, I'm now being manipulated by Big Shot. And now, I've discovered a shocking secret in this story. After Bei Xiaoqin's rambling explanation, I finally understand his relationship with Fei Yu. I've been shipping them for half my life, and you're telling me she's his niece. Preposterous. Big Shot looked confused. Why do you look so disappointed? Oh, you're so noble, so pure. My wickedness has tainted your innocent love story. Big Shot seemed somewhat relieved. Considering Ronghan and Fei Yu's feelings for you, I'll let you off the hook this time. But if Miss Rong does anything she shouldn't, then that you understand. From now on, Fei Yu is my heart, my lungs, my precious little darling. But then Bei Xiaoqin pulled out a suspicious pill and forced me to take it. What is that? Poison, of course. Just kidding. Before I could finish, Big Shot flicked the pill into my mouth. I was completely unwilling. Help! Someone save me. Big Shot gave a wicked smile. Don't worry, you won't die. Yet, it all depends on Miss Rong's behavior. He then turned and left, leaving me standing there in bewildered silence. I stood up shakily, a wave of weakness washing over me. Ow, my legs. Don't think I don't know that was a candy. My acting was top-notch. From the looks of it, Bei Xiaoqin didn't suspect a thing, which means as long as I don't make a move on Fei Yu, I don't have to worry about becoming a handmaiden. Yay! The next day, Fei Yu and I were having our usual meal. Ningxuan, did you hear? Last night, the Xian King's roof was blown up, and they didn't even catch the culprit. I almost choked on my food, spraying a rainbow out of my mouth. Such a ridiculous act had to be Bei Xiaoqin's doing. Well, of course, we can't say that. At that moment, the Xian King was fuming in the palace. The person in my room last night must be a master. I didn't even detect their yuanly fluctuations. Seeing no progress, he questioned his subordinate about the incident. Your Highness, the Rong family's second elder seems to have acquired unexplained funds and purchased a large quantity of herbs. The Xian King didn't hesitate. Suddenly, an idea struck him. Send a few people to snoop around the back of the Rong family's elder council. We might have something in a few days. Everyone says I'm worthless. Even Big Shot says I'm trash, not even fit to be a maid. But even someone like me has a fiancé who refuses to break off our engagement. Not only does he help me when I'm in trouble, he also agrees to any of my requests. Looking at everything before me, I was overjoyed. I didn't expect my baby to be so capable. Mommy loves you. Meanwhile, the Xian King was slowly approaching me from behind, whispering, come on, baby, help your husband out. What the heck? You want me to plant listening devices in the second elder's room? That's right. Did you forget what you told me a while ago? A few days prior, to help Fei Yu in the struggle for family leadership, I had revealed some of the story's plot to the Xian King. The second elder of the Rong family was pretending to curry favor with the first prince, but was secretly working with the fourth prince. He planned to tamper with the Danyao meant for the first prince, intending to stage a coup. After some investigation, the Xian King had also learned that this was indeed the case. So he planned to use me and my extensive information network within the family to intervene. However, I was panicking. How do I reasonably explain that I have the script? This is urgent. Please help. You're saying I shouldn't help. No way. Because Rong Fu and the Xian King's father were close, and the Xian King's mother and the first prince's mother are best friends, we're essentially stuck on the first prince's sinking ship. After some back and forth, I was forced to accept this unreasonable request. Speaking of which, the listening devices in this fantasy world are really soft. They're squishy and quite comfortable to squeeze. But right now, the most important thing is to find the second elder's residence. Suddenly, a noise startled me. Ningxuan, why are you here? Did your father send you to find me? I breathed a sigh of relief. No, I was just wandering around. Well, it just so happens I have something for your father. Can you pass it on for me? I readily agreed. However, the next moment I wasn't smiling. The third elder slowly pulled out a thick stack of practice materials for me to give to Fei Yu. Poor Fei Yu, her studies are so demanding. You have to hang in there. After a few brief instructions, the third elder left the study with his keys, saying I could wander freely in the back garden. I have to say, the third elder is truly kind. Since I'm here, I might as well take a good look around. A moment later, I arrive in the back garden to admire the potted plants, my gaze drifting intentionally towards the distance. The flowers over there are so beautiful. Are they the third elders? Those belong to the second elder's courtyard. Hearing this, I perked up. I immediately abandoned my pretense and ran towards the distant courtyard. Although I found the place, there were guards. So, I had to resort to modern, sophisticated methods. First, I found a secluded wall with a window. Then, I removed the window and slipped right in. Perfect stealth, just like a pro. That's me. And, as if by magic, the window I'd removed remained conveniently open. I slapped my little device onto the wallpaper. Job done. What a top-tier agent. Just then, the second elder, alerted by the noise, came to the door. Ronin Xuan, what are you doing here? I was the world top agent, but my first mission failure plunged my family into crisis. Now I was sweating bullets, practically on the verge of a full-blown panic attack. Just then, the third elder, Wen Yin, arrived. Second elder, making such a fuss over a junior is rather unseemly, don't you think? He helped me up and gently inquired about what had happened. I was at a loss. I couldn't exactly say I was here to eavesdrop. Just as I was about to make up a story, a ridiculously green-haired guy jumped out. It was the second elder's #1 lackey, green hair. I already know why Miss Rong has infiltrated the second elder's residence. His words shocked me. Could there be a traitor within the Xian Prince's mansion? That's right. You're here to steal the second elder's alchemy secrets. What? Who would steal homework notes? Unbelievable. To think you would stoop to such despicable means to help Miss Fei Yu win against young Master Kunkin. I was stunned. What nonsense was this guy spouting? Why was he dragging Fei Yu into this? The second elder was about to pin the blame on Fei Yu. I couldn't stand for it. I slammed my hand down. Second elder, you're going too far. Listening to slander and forcing a conviction. Such arbitrary judgment is unacceptable. Falsely accused. Then why didn't you use the main entrance? Why sneak in? Well, I just happened to be passing by and saw some clothes blown into the courtyard. I just came in to put them back. What? Such a lame excuse. Only a dog would believe that. Ningxuan, you're such a good, honest child. However, such a clumsy excuse clearly couldn't fool Green Hair. He immediately ordered a search. This is bad. I'm doomed. Lord Wei found a red belly band on the ground. This shocked everyone present. Why would there be such a thing in the second elder's courtyard? No matter, I had to improvise. I pinched my thigh hard. Tears welled up in my eyes and trickled down my face at a 45-degree angle. I only wanted to uphold the second elder's reputation, but I've been wrongly accused. Who would have thought that the usually dignified second elder would secretly be a pervert who likes to wear women's red belly bands? The second elder, enraged, was about to punish me. Second elder, calm down. Even if your preferences are unique, Ningxuan didn't mean to expose them. The second elder, red-faced, sputtered denials. Seeing the escalating tension, Green Hair picked up the belly band for closer inspection, trying to find a clue. He was in for a surprise. Isn't this my wife's lingerie? Second elder, Wen Yin, was so scared he nearly soiled himself. He frantically tried to explain himself. A trace of sorrow flashed across Green Hair Dude's eyes. We've known each other for so long. And you actually think I wouldn't? I haven't even heard your explanation. I won't listen. I won't. What did you do to my Nini? Watching this love-hate drama unfold before us, we gradually gave up trying to understand. And so, I left them with an unforgettable trauma. From the outside, it looked like this. Your Highness, Elder Rong and her subordinate are fighting over some lingerie. Who would have thought that at such a young age, I could shatter my enemies' minds with a piece of red lingerie? Meanwhile, the third prince was in his room berating his subordinates for their incompetence. How could our newly planted spy be discovered so quickly? His subordinate, on the other hand, was completely baffled. I don't understand. The spy hid the intel in the lingerie, but it was found by the guards yesterday. We're a professional team. There must be someone behind this. The third prince, Wen Yin, pondered this. It's not impossible. Investigate this thoroughly. If anyone dares to interfere, chop them to pieces. Elsewhere, Fei Yu was testing the advanced equipment I got from Prince Xian. As spiritual energy coalesced, a high-quality medicinal pill materialized before our eyes. We were overjoyed. By the way, Ningxuan, what happened at the Elder Council yesterday? I couldn't bring myself to tell her the truth. It was just some harmless pranks, a little cuckolding and whatnot. So I said meaningfully, Some things are better left unknown to children. Feiyu, understanding, didn't press the matter further and invited me to visit the herbal medicine market with her. Just as I was about to answer, the plot suddenly flashed through my mind. Isn't this the new version of the scene where the first prince makes his grand entrance? He's a super hottie, way hotter than Bei Shaoqin. I remember in the story, the first prince is scammed by a shady merchant while strolling through the market, and then Feiyu, seeing this injustice, steps in to help him. From that moment on, the first prince is captivated by Feiyu's noble character. Although I really wanted to get close to the first prince, the original character already knew him. Going out like this might mess up the plot. It seemed I had no choice but to decline Feiyu's invitation. Hearing this, Feiyu's eyes welled up with tears. Her adorable pout almost gave me a heart attack. I quickly comforted her, promising to go next time. It's a promise then. At the herbal medicine market, Feiyu was examining various herbs. She then said to Tan Xiao beside her, "Let me know when that person arrives." Tan Xiao impatiently agreed. Suddenly, a figure caught Tan Xiao's attention. That wealthy young man had a strong aura, and there were guards around him. Could he be a nobleman? At that moment, the first prince was admiring a product in a merchant's hands. The color is quite nice. He reached out to touch it. The shady merchant grinned, and the tortoise shell in his hand suddenly shattered into countless pieces. "My 100-year-old tortoise shell. You broke it. That's worth 10 gold coins." Just then, a voice rang out. A mere imitation, worth no more than a few copper coins. Rong Feiyu, dark and charming, was truly in her element. Even if she were to fall to the bottom of a lake, a ray of moonlight would still illuminate her. The shady merchant was now slandering the first prince, who was disguised as a wealthy young man. Judging by his appearance, I doubt he can afford even 100 or 80,000. Feiyu, witnessing the injustice, remained calm and collected, eloquently explaining the origin of the imitation in the merchant's hand. The merchant, his lie exposed, tried to deny it, but Feiyu demanded they use white vinegar to test whether the tortoise shell would fade. If it didn't fade, she would pay double the amount. Seeing the situation turn against him, the shady merchant could only flee the scene, trembling. The first prince, witnessing this, enthusiastically approached Feiyu and offered to thank her personally. Feiyu, however, refused. After all, our little angel does good deeds without seeking recognition. After a few polite words, she turned and left. Observing Feiyu's attire, the first prince guessed her identity. She must be Rong Han's daughter, the one who recently returned. Virtuous and knowledgeable, she's nothing like the country bumpkin others describe her as. Having said that, he ordered his men to investigate the recent deception. Elsewhere, Tanchio was teasing Feiyu about her anonymous good deed. Feiyu, in turn, mocked Tanchio's ignorance. That person's jade pendant is inlaid with a summoning jewel that only royalty can use. Even royal families treasure them, let alone bring them out shopping. Moreover, this person has a gentle demeanor. He must be Cheng Yang Wenji, the eldest prince of the Shanghong dynasty. Just as Tanchio was about to retort, a familiar presence caught his attention. "Hey kid, that geezer you told me to watch out for is here." Following his gaze, the newcomer was the Rong family's second elder. Seeing this, Feiyu was delighted. A good show was about to begin. Feiyu stepped in front of the second elder. She respectfully said, "Grandpa, Feiyu has brought her father to greet you." The second elder clicked his tongue in annoyance. After muttering a few curses, he quickly walked towards the market. Feiyu, on the other hand, smiled wickedly. A puff of purple smoke shot straight into the second elder's nostrils. After a moment of silence, the second elder abruptly demanded, "Are you mocking me?" Feiyu put on an innocent expression of confusion. However, what the second elder saw was a look of subtle ridicule. "Insolent girl, you dare disrespect your elders just because you're the family head's daughter. Take her back and punish her." Feiyu trembled as she moved towards the edge of the bridge. The second elder was clearly bullying her. However, she kept thinking about Tanchio's predicament with the burning wooden piles. With a shout from the second elder, the guards beside him lunged forward. Seeing this, Feiyu stumbled backward. The wooden piles behind her began to break, just as planned. This commotion successfully attracted everyone's attention. Feiyu, now in the water, thought to herself, the dose wasn't much, but his reaction is so exaggerated. He's truly arrogant and reckless. Now, the righteous image you've painstakingly cultivated in front of the first prince is ruined. I was going to gather evidence for the prince, but what could be more convincing than witnessing it firsthand? She let herself sink slowly to the bottom of the lake. Just then, a familiar figure swam towards her. "Why is it you?" She was once a wealthy young lady, but due to unforeseen circumstances, she ended up on the streets. Not only did she become someone's slave, but she also fell off a cliff, nearly dying. Yet, she had a humble dream, to have a true family member who cared for her. However, reality was cruel. As a slave, Feiyu was forced to meet the traffickers' demands every day. Those who failed to steal the required amount were deprived of food and beaten. Such occurrences were commonplace in the squalid environment. Yet, this did not extinguish the girl's kindness. Hungry herself, she gave the stolen bun to a pitiful boy collapsed on the ground. Without a second thought, the boy snatched the bun and devoured it. The loud noises attracted the trafficker's attention. He stole the food. It has nothing to do with me. These simple words shattered the girl's innocent kindness. After a moment of silence, Feiyu climbed over the windowsill and escaped. As if by divine intervention, the downpour concealed Feiyu's escape, leaving behind only the girl's weakened figure. The next morning, sunlight streamed into the dilapidated stable. An old woman making her rounds discovered Feiyu asleep inside. Looking at the food offered by the old woman, the starving Feiyu gratefully accepted the bun. "You're so young to be out here alone. Your parents must be worried." Feiyu looked downcast. She replied flatly, "I don't have parents. I've never met them." Realizing her mistake, the old woman quickly apologized and inquired about Feiyu's well-being. "My family isn't wealthy, but if you don't mind, you can stay here and recover." These words were like a beacon of light in the darkness, illuminating the girl's world. "Thank you, thank you." That night, Feiyu found refuge in this rare haven. Suddenly, a black hand stealthily reached out, pulling back the straw mat. It was ready to get down to business. However, the sight before the man's eyes stunned him. "You tricked me." Feiyu, however, had already nimbly jumped out the window. With the sound of footsteps closing in behind her, she desperately fled into the forest. But fate was not on her side this time. A thick tree root mercilessly tripped her. Her delicate form, like a marionette with its strings cut, plummeted into the ravine. In an instant, blood stained the young woman's tender face. "Am I dying? Dying on the rainiest day I hate. If I die, the pain will probably stop." Yet, as if by fate's arrangement, the seeping blood happened to touch a strange, round disc. As ominous smoke slowly rose, a sinister dark shadow suddenly appeared. "Hey, little girl, do you want to live? Justice delayed is justice denied." This girl, who had been abused for over a decade, was suddenly told she was a wealthy young lady separated from her family. Anyone would throw a fit, wouldn't they? Inside a dilapidated house, a mother and daughter were surrounded by human traffickers. The old woman had originally planned to sell Feiyu, whom she had found, to repay a ransom. Now, having failed to capture the intended target, the traffickers could only vent their anger on the mother and daughter. As they spoke, they moved to grab them. In the next moment, the ghostly black shadow let out a cold laugh. A violent explosion ripped through the crowd. However, the person who appeared stunned the old woman. Feiyu stared blankly at the woman who had betrayed her. As the rich woman looked on in terror, Feiyu couldn't help but pour out the grievance in her heart. Such short words, yet they tormented the rich woman's heart like a sharp blade. "I'm sorry. My husband ran off with gambling debts. They want to take my daughter. I had no choice. I'm sorry. Is it all right to hurt another's child for the sake of your own?" Feiyu's expression grew colder. The sturdy old woman shielded her daughter, begging Feiyu, "As long as you don't hurt my daughter, you can do anything to me." Such a plea only fueled Feiyu's rage. With nowhere to vent her anger, it transformed into a burst of purple flames that exploded within the house. Watching the scene, the rich woman couldn't help but straighten up. "You gave me a meal once, so I'll spare you this time. But if we meet again, I won't show mercy." Then, like a deflated balloon, Felita walked listlessly down the rain-soaked street. She recalled her humble wish from childhood. "If only someone could offer me a little warmth in the cold. If only someone could hold my hand in the wind. Even if it's a selfish and despicable kind of protection, I still wish someone would be willing to protect me." But it was all just wishful thinking. Until he appeared. Justice delayed is justice denied. "But you are so bright, constantly illuminating my life." The downpour mingled with the black shadow's endless rage. "You disobedient thing. You actually let my sacrifice go. Then I'll use your blood instead." Feiyu, on the other hand, taunted, "Wouldn't that mean you saved me for nothing?" The black shadow could only sputter in anger, slamming Feiyu hard against the ground. "If there's a next time, I'll make you wish you were dead." With that, it left behind a probe called Zimu and vanished. Although Zimu wasn't strong offensively, it could sense and influence the emotions of others. In the years that followed, Feiyu became like a tool for the Black Shadow, completing its tasks time and time again. Until one day, a man named Bei Shaochen appeared. Zimu was terrified of him. What surprised Feiyu even more was that she was actually a wealthy young lady, about to return to her birth parents. Recalling her childhood of hunger and inadequate clothing, endless rage filled her once more. Yet, she accepted it all indifferently, for she had neither the reason nor the ability to refuse. Having finished preparing herself, Feiyu sat dejectedly in the carriage, tightly clutching the constantly chattering Zimu. Compared to her own lowliness, the kind woman before her felt like a stinging rebuke. And this vicious dog they sent, was it a show of power from the eldest miss? Fine, let's see whose side my father takes when I have a falling out with that young miss. However, the next moment, a figure threw themselves into the girl's arms. The girl's heart was so touched at this moment. Why? Is it because father is here that you're doing this? And also back then with the bandits. Even when I fell to the ground, he still protected me so resolutely. No matter what, he would always stand by my side. Even now, he hasn't abandoned me. I thought it was a tiny, unattainable wish. But he's right here in front of me now. This time, I will never let go. Cuckolded. The prince, he's truly been cuckolded. And it's the kind even his bros are shipping. Pray tell, why is the wind so boisterous today? It's the wailing cry of a woman weeping in a BMW. Just a few minutes ago, I was still a carefree little piggy. However, curiosity killed the cat. The commotion behind me caught my attention. I looked in the direction everyone was talking about. There, a strikingly handsome guy appeared. Such a fresh and refined disguise. It scared the dumpling right out of my mouth. I said, "Your Highness, what are you doing?" The prince, his identity exposed, couldn't help but clench. "What? Such a perfect disguise, and you saw through it." I am speechless. I then pointed to the horse's rump and said, "Anyone with eyes can see your royal family's unique, artistic horse." The prince angrily took off his headscarf. Even the wisest can make a mistake. In that case, I'll have to make this quick. Before I could savor the moment, the prince, with a ruthless iron hand, suddenly pulled the innocent girl into his arms. Like the free wind, you chase ahead and I fly behind. The prince's expression was serious as he spoke about Rome, the second elder going out and pretending to run into the first prince. Hearing this, my expression shifted to one of 3 parts shock and 7 parts panicked worry about the current situation. However, knowing the plot, I was fearless. What bad intentions could the second elder have? He's just trying to curry favor with the first prince. Obviously, this kind of thing is something you absolutely can't tell this clueless guy in front of me. After a bout of poetic rambling, we successfully arrived at the herbal medicine street. The clever prince still hadn't given up on his perfect disguise and continued to swagger conspicuously, hidden amongst the passing crowds. Suddenly, the second elder's figure caught the dummy's attention. The second elder was being aggressive, trying to get his hands on the girl in front of him. "Don't just stand there, dummy. Your wife is being harassed." Hearing this, the prince was full of confusion. "Are you talking about Miss Feiyu, the one who was with you last time?" "I don't really know her." This statement made my jaw drop. Listen to yourself. That's your wife, and you're telling me you don't know her. Weren't you too? Just as I was about to speak, images flooded my mind. Wait a minute, what the... Cuckolded. The prince's fiancée ran off with his little sister-in-law. And it's the kind even the future emperor is shipping. Pray tell, who is the prince? He's Feiyu, the male lead's little heater. Yet this originally sweet and romantic love story has been completely ruined by me. All that exclusive pampering, all that lovey-dovey stuff, all that facing the darkness and fighting Kunkin. How come I was the one who experienced all of that? My dear little trooper, mommy sorry. Just as I was lamenting, a splash caught everyone's attention. I went over with a concerned air to inquire about what happened. What? Feiyu fell in the water, but the male lead is right there. Should I go in? Suddenly, the conveniently placed railing broke. Then, in a standard 45-degree angle, I did a triple somersault and a half in the air and landed in the water. Look, someone fell in. As the saying goes, since I'm already here, might as well save the person. After some paddling, I successfully surfaced with Feiyu in my arms. I even thoughtfully used telepathy to decompress Feiyu. However, Feiyu, who wanted cuddles, was still unconscious and didn't respond to anyone's calls. Even after reaching the shore, Feiyu, who wanted to breathe, remained unconscious. Seeing the situation worsen, my mind raced with countless thoughts. There was no other way. I had to resort to artificial respiration. Just as I was 0.01 millimeters away, Feiyu flinched. With a shout, she stopped this cursed, sinful act. You were given a chance, but you didn't take it. Seeing Feiyu regain consciousness filled me with joy. However, the two people beside me were blushing and staring blankly. I was saving your future wife. You believe me, right? Seeing the atmosphere grow tense, I hurriedly and nervously explained the purpose of artificial respiration. Seeing this, the first prince tactfully stepped forward to address Rong Ningxuan. Since you're on good terms with Rong Han, you should escort them back to their residence. Seeing that Prince Xian was still somewhat worried, the first prince gave him a reassuring look. After a few polite exchanges, we took our leave under Prince. The second elder, who was behind us, still intended to step forward and explain something. The first prince, having witnessed everything, discreetly stopped him. The second elder could only grit his teeth and leave. As he left, he didn't forget to mutter some insults about the Rong family. Seeing that no one was around, the first prince's expression instantly darkened, and his inner Fujoshi bloomed. Girls being close is just too wonderful. This is what you call a master. As long as I add another layer of meaning, you'll never figure me out. After the undergarment incident, the third prince finally found out the truth. It was indeed that Rong Ningxuan. She has a marriage agreement with Prince Xian. Perhaps Prince Xian discovered something. Otherwise, how could it be so coincidental that she snuck into the second elder's courtyard and then so coincidentally discovered the intelligence? Damn it. And then so coincidentally shifted the blame onto the spy. With such a logical argument, the third prince nearly ground his teeth to dust. Rong Ningxuan, just you wait. You won't survive this Yin Dan tournament. Elsewhere, having rescued Feiyu, I fell into deep thought. Don't you think Feiyu is acting strange? First, the handmade snacks, a daily necessity for noble ladies. Then, the top-grade beauty pills that can preserve youth. Even the undergarments Dad gave her, she had to alter them to my size. And now, she's even calling me Ma Dongmei. I just squatted down, dumbfounded. And all of this is because of that blockhead who doesn't want a wife. I'm so angry. It's all because of me that Feiyu's pure and beautiful first love was hindered. Feiyu, what do you think of Prince Xian? Hearing this, Feiyu politely commented on Prince Xian's character. Then, she shyly covered her blushing face. As expected, Feiyu is embarrassed. Seeing this, I immediately comforted her and expressed my intention to break off the engagement with Prince Xian. Hearing this, Feiyu was overjoyed. A girl in love confirmed. Action speaks louder than words. I immediately arranged for Feiyu to meet Prince Xian on the street he frequented. I tried to secretly cultivate their feelings. However, things didn't go as planned. Two clueless thugs set their sights on Feiyu's beauty. Then, in a chase, they ducked into a suggestive alleyway shop. Oh my, not there. However, the scene before me made me shudder. This isn't right. Feiyu, who had just beaten up 3 thugs, coldly glanced over. Recognizing the person, she let out a whimper and threw herself into my arms, lamenting her helplessness. After several controlled experiments, Feiyu only exchanged polite greetings with Prince Xian. However, such strange outings naturally caught my attention. Just as I was about to drag Feiyu along to cultivate feelings with Prince Xian again, she interrupted me with a 35-hit combo. Then, with a ruthless iron grip, she pulled me into an endless abyss. Just like that, we swam happily in the ocean of knowledge. Time flew by, and the long-awaited Yin Dan tournament finally arrived. As if by fate, Feiyu and I were assigned to different examination halls. Seeing this, Feiyu couldn't help but worry about me. But such a simple nonlinear partial differential equation, you'll definitely have no problem with it. With that said, she began to write furiously. However, if nothing unexpected happens, then the unexpected happens. Another failure. What are you assassins doing? Seeing this, The servant panicked. I'm not worried. We've arranged people at every stage, but we didn't expect that Rong Ningxuan wouldn't even be able to pass the initial test. Bei Xiaochen never dreamed that his wise and mighty self would be turned into an adorable little boy, and by his own niece's hand, no less. Just now, the first prince and fourth prince were jointly handling the banquet and the second round of the ceremony. And Bei Xiaochen, the venerable Saint Lord of 10,000 generations, stood everyone up, and not just for a short while, but for a full 2 hours. Everyone was buzzing with speculation. Surely such an important figure must be detained by pressing matters, preventing him from arriving on time. However, in reality, the big boss was already at the competition. It wasn't that he couldn't come, but that he literally couldn't. Just a few days ago, after I failed to qualify for the competition, I listened to the studyholic woman's attempts at consolation. Things like, the questions were too hard, try harder next time, and it's okay if your score isn't the best. I tearfully placed all my hopes on my little Feiyu. After all, she's the female lead, the village's only hope. As for why Feiyu was blushing, well, children shouldn't ask too many questions. Looking at my spirited Feiyu, I began to ponder. Considering the timing, his moment should be arriving soon. That's right, I'm talking about her uncle, Bei Xiaochen. Seeing the current lovey-dovey atmosphere between them, knowing everything I do, I felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Such a heartwarming scene, truly a sight to behold. It's truly my wickedness that taints your pure love. Although the plot between the male and female leads has gone a little off track, things with Bei Xiaochen are still progressing normally. After all, he's afflicted with the Kuei clan's strange poison and needs Feiyu's help. Feiyu uses the secret recipe in the Imperial Book to treat him. However, judging from the drama script, there are always some strange mishaps when Feiyu refines medicine for Bei Xiaochen. This has got to be some weird directorial trickery. Lost in thought, I was startled by the big boss's sudden cry. What? You want me to refine medicine for you? Are you crazy? I was absolutely unwilling. You two can do whatever you want with your plot. Bei Xiaochen, on the other hand, was grinning, recounting all my inventions and achievements, all the while praising my abilities. I was truly impressed by this sly fox. If I refused, he'd probably twist my head off. Knowing when to yield is a mark of true wisdom. Resigned, I accompanied Feiyu to gather the necessary medicinal ingredients. Just as we returned to our room to fetch the equipment, our clever little spy ball arrived. Forget this Bei Xiaochen nonsense. I'll just poison him and be done with it. Although I said that, I obviously couldn't do it. Not only would that woman notice, but there's also the big boss, the ultimate powerhouse. If I'm exposed, my master will be in danger. After some careful calculation, the little spy ball made the best decision of its life. After a magnificent display of refining, a jade-green pill appeared before everyone. Feiyu, however, still seemed apprehensive, muttering about the complexity of the pill. Bei Xiaochen, at her side, offered comforting words. As a spectator, I could tell at a glance that this was definitely a failure. The big boss, however, had a pained expression. After a moment of internal struggle, he gritted his teeth and swallowed the pill in one gulp. Suddenly, a strange sensation surged through him. With a burst of energy radiating outwards, thick smoke filled the surrounding alleyways. It was like he swallowed a smoke bomb whole. As the smoke slowly dissipated, our adorable white-haired little boy appeared. Xiaohun Neva imagint that a simple Children's Day gift would turn him into this harmless form. Hey, big boss, there's a reason for everything. Don't take it out on me. But his expression only darkened. Why are you standing? Sit down. Seeing this, I truly panicked. It's all my 1.8-meter long leg's fault. How's this posture? Is it standard enough? Just as I was caught in a dilemma, my Feiyu finally arrived. She immediately explained the reason for Bei Xiaochen's transformation. Basically, it was blah 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 blah. Such a magnificent explanation left us both bewildered. Simply put, it just needs to be suppressed with Yuanli. Bei Xiaochen, however, looked dumbfounded. After all, most of his Yuanli was currently being used to suppress the poison. Diverting any of it would probably kill him. Seeing this, Feiyu bent down and offered gentle comfort. Don't worry, we'll find a solution. And in this moment, just like that time before, the figure of someone from the past reappeared in Bei Xiaochen's mind. Don't worry, try it. If you need any medicinal ingredients, just come to me. Seeing this, I felt a little puzzled. I had a feeling that the big boss seemed a bit sad. After many attempts, Feiyu's experiments, unsurprisingly, ended in failure. However, today, the bold little one couldn't find his mother. Be good. Feiyu went to compete today. Is that so? Then let's go watch the competition together. Miss Rong shouldn't refuse me, right? Just listen to yourselves. Is that even something a human would say? Looking at his dark expression, I bet he's the one who'll be refused. The grass on his grave would be this tall by now. To this, I wholeheartedly agree. That's right, I'm volunteering. Absolutely no one is forcing me. After a period of silence, we finally arrived at the competition venue. I was very relieved about this. After all, a quiet and well-behaved child like this is almost as precious as a national treasure. But I still need to finish today's task first. After coaxing the older child, I quietly slipped away. At this moment, in the back office of the competition, I was huddled in a corner, secretly observing. Suddenly, an unexpected greeting startled me. But a big boss is a big boss. In a few moves, he brought me safely to a private room. I was angry but didn't dare to say anything. After a few pleasantries, we started looking for Feiyu's single-person furnace. Just as I was about to start my routine inspection, a sudden eep interrupted our actions. A dark figure flashed by. The evil forces made their grand entrance. After some fumbling, the person in black placed a strange object into Feiyu's furnace. Then, they quickly left the scene of the crime. With the script in hand, I have the world. How could such a small trick escape my eyes? I immediately took out the Han Ci Sure and explained its other effects to the big boss. I remember in the story, Feiyu caused an explosion because of this thing. Fortunately, there was no serious damage, and her uncle was furious. Before I could finish explaining the reason, the second, third, and fourth waves of evil forces made their grand entrances. I said, can't you guys put in something else? Just like that, we successfully collected 4 Han magnetic stones. However, what I didn't know was that we also harvested 4 servings of bad luck from the scheming uncle. I never dreamed that my ability to blow things up would actually come in handy, especially to mess with Kuan Kuan. Just now, a certain Kuan Kuan contestant, whose name I won't reveal, was blown to smithereens by his furnace. While being treated, he kept muttering something about coal exploding and blowing up. It was a brain injury caused by the explosion. Bei Xiaochun, on the other hand, grinned. As they say, a drop of kindness deserves a fountain in return. It's not too much that I blew him half to death. To this, I echoed, you're the big boss. Whatever you say is right. I didn't expect that after learning about my explosive constitution, the big boss's first thought was to use it to harm others. I was just like, wow, okay. I remember in the story, Kuan Kuan was supposed to fight the female lead. He was the final boss and the minor villain. Now, he's being carried away by a professional team. Then what was the point of me going to the Elder's courtyard? Don't I deserve some face? My current mood is like watching Snow White burp out the poison apple and then fly off into the sunset with her brothers and the princess. Can you imagine? That being said, as long as the big boss doesn't take me out too, he can do whatever he wants. However, some are happy while others are worried. Our dear second elder was so angry he was grinding his teeth. He immediately ordered Kuan Kuan's father to take people to the 4th prince to complain. Introduced by the 4th prince, Kuan Kuan and his father successfully met with the 1st prince. Kuan Kuan politely clasped his cute little hands and tearfully recounted how Feiyu used the Han magnetic stone to sabotage him and cause the explosion. The 4th prince echoed his sentiments, determined to crush Feiyu. But who is our 1st prince? As the head of the CP fan club, he had to think rationally. He immediately summoned the young Rome couple. Seeing this, Kuan Kuan was overjoyed. After all, making false accusations is his specialty. I never dreamed that the big boss just wanted me to provoke Kuan Kuan. I practically sent him to jail, can you imagine? At this moment, the big boss was truly furious after hearing about Kuan Kuan's false accusations. I'm not exaggerating. If I hadn't held him back, Kuan Kuan would probably be 6 feet under by now. I said, big boss, didn't you say my primal force was special and undetectable? How'd they find out? The big boss was fuming. He felt they were making false accusations. If that's the case, my family is in trouble. The worst part is, I have no idea where to start. The big boss slapped me with an all-access pass, telling me to rush to the rescue. He said if I could provoke the other side and get the judging panel involved, Feiyu would be cleared of suspicion. And what about you, big boss? A little rude, don't you think? Meanwhile, Feiyu was explaining how she'd been wrongly accused. Kuin and his father, on the other hand, were busy with their intimidation tactics. Feiyu was exasperated. This idiotic pair had ruined her lovely afternoon tea with her sweetheart. She started to work herself up, a single tear rolling down her cheek. We're from the same family. Are you trying to ruin the wrong family name? The first prince clearly had a soft spot for damsels in distress. Kuin, standing beside him, was speechless. Is it too late for me to cry now? Feiyu then turned to Kuin. How did you know Han Sishi would broadcast that? And why did you accuse him without any proof? Kun vos renderit. Suddenly, a glamorous figure appeared. It was me. Why should someone else take the blame for my stupidity? The scene was a blend of touching reunion and romance. My darling, I'm here to save you. This melodramatic inner monologue, of course, belonged to someone else. Seeing it was me, the head of the competition conveniently opened a back door. The fourth prince didn't object. After all, the more the merrier. After a standard exchange of trash talk, the first round of the competition began. You're such a loser. You won't even face me directly. The Han Sishi I found in the single furnace is proof that someone framed me. Oh, really? Are you just randomly accusing people because you can't find any evidence? Aren't you the ones who benefit most from me being disqualified? Feiyu watched my fight with Kuin deep in thought. Isn't Ning Xuanmu deliberately provoking him? She urged her little spy ball on. Stimulated by the little spy ball, Kuin became even more reckless. Take this. Comet Strike. What can't handle it? I bribed the logistics staff to slip it into his furnace. Holy crap, I never thought I'd experience the intimate pleasure of being this close to a beautiful girl. With half my face buried in, well, never mind. Thanks to Kuin's confession, all the cheating in the semifinals was exposed, causing an uproar among the eliminated contestants. The Rong family, at the center of the controversy, naturally became the focus of attention. After a joint proposal by the three great families, the first prince decided to hold a rematch for all contestants. The study-holic woman from the Rong family was overjoyed. After all, even I, who failed to qualify for the initial rounds, was back in the game. But thinking about it, I remember in the original story, Bei Xiaochan found out Feiyu had been set up and launched a full investigation. However, Kuin, the main villain, somehow managed to escape unscathed. In the end, the whole thing blew up, leading to a rematch for everyone. All of this happened without Bei Xiaochan's involvement. Now, I've stolen his plotline, but the rematch is still happening. Is this what they call plot consistency? It seems like I should keep a low profile, but that's easier said than done. How can you refuse when a beautiful, innocent girl takes your hand and sweetly begs you to go shopping with her? I mean, they're like puppies. I just can't resist. And so, I successfully arrived at the rematch venue. The crowd started buzzing as they saw me, criticizing the Rong family's despicable behavior. I was a little worried. It wouldn't be good if it affected my little darling's performance. Feiyu, on the other hand, looked furious, as if she wanted to obliterate everyone who was bad-mouthing me. Just then, a handsome guy with red hair showed up. It was Zhou Wangfei, the eldest son of the Zhou family. So, you two are the ones who convinced the first prince to expel Kuin, right? I was a little startled. Someone was picking a fight before the competition even started. Feiyu, however, stepped forward. So what? The first prince upheld justice. What's the problem? Little Feiyu looked awkward. A delicate arm suddenly smacked little Feiyu on the head. Do you know how to talk? Is that how you greet someone? Are you here to start a fight? After the attack, the young lady politely stepped forward to apologize. I am Feng Hui of the Feng family. Feiyu accidentally bumped into you too. Please forgive her. Hearing this, Feiyu became unhappy and immediately criticized the Qi Rong family's reception etiquette. Thus, the two began to bicker back and forth. Seeing such an amusing quarrel, I was completely captivated. I then stopped Feiyu's mid-sentence interruption. As they say, as long as there are enough people to trip over, melons will fall from the sky. Seeing me being bullied by the red-haired young lady, the other young lady really got upset. With a merciless iron grip, she pulled me towards the towering, majestic mountains. This delicate situation made Feiyu feel a deep sense of crisis. She immediately pulled me out of that mesmerizing wonderland. Just then, a blue-clad man stopped their argument and began to introduce himself to me. Suddenly, the opening of the competition interrupted him. In that case, I'll see you in the competition. Hearing this, Feiyu felt another surge of crisis and hurriedly questioned the man. but I'm really not anxious. Could it be someone from the original host passed? Some respectable gentleman she flirted with. A moment later, Dan Hui, as expected, borrowed the big boss's Yuan Chi. Knowing the plot, I naturally didn't have the dumbfounded expression on everyone else's faces. This was also noticed by the big boss. With the elders' Yuan Chi surging, the Yin Dan tournament illusion trial finally began. The big boss never dreamed that I would be the woman he could never control. The so-called four-symbol halo is a powerful Yuan Chi that can create a large-scale illusion and set its rules. One of the rules is that participants cannot attack each other. As for the other rules, they naturally have nothing to do with certain people. As the domain unfolded, I suddenly appeared in a dense forest. So, Feiyu wheel. However, the emptiness behind me made me realize, right, this is an illusion. Finding Feiyu might be difficult. So, I could only embark on the journey alone. What I didn't know was that the nightmare had begun. Elsewhere, Feiyu was methodically searching for various herbs. As the names of the herbs appeared, the plants in her hand vanished into thin air. It seems that the herbs found are converted into points. This panel probably has other uses as well. She then urged Little Spy Ball to start searching. But Little Spy Ball was quite annoyed. That thing is something your master specifically requested. All right, you're very diligent. In another part of the forest, Feiyu was leisurely strolling across the grassland. As I recall this, before she could finish, someone behind her immediately answered with the herb's properties. Feiyu dodged and arrogantly left. Seeing this, Feiyu was furious. Fate, however, is just that coincidental. Some people land in pairs, and some are still single. Why are you here? You seem unhappy to see me. Suddenly, a series of charming greetings interrupted their exchange, looking towards the source of the sound. The sight before them left them dumbfounded. That's right, he's here, running for his life with Princess Nyonyo. Thus, the number of people fleeing successfully increased to 4. Suddenly, the delicate young lady's body weakened. Just as she was about to fall, a strong arm caught her. Then, in a princess carry, he held her in his arms. I told you to cultivate properly, but you didn't listen. I was completely captivated by this. See, what did I tell you? The young lady, on the other hand, shyly buried her head, letting out an involuntary moan. However, some are happy while others are worried. This whole scene was being observed from the outside. What's going on? Why is there romance in the illusion? The host was nearly in tears. Why do I have to take the blame for the big boss's ideas? He could only force an explanation. After all, it's normal for there to be a few monsters near the Ganoderma lucidum, and killing them earns points. But before one wave subsided, another arose. Brother Zhou, your son is holding my daughter. This is rather inappropriate, isn't it? It wasn't me. Don't come to me. Seeing the stalemate, the first prince had to intervene. Since it was that person's decision, there must be a reason. It's good to let the contestants experience danger beforehand. Seeing this, everyone echoed the sentiment and backed down. They watched the single corpse, pursued by Yuan, flee in panic. Sitting on a tree, Bei Shaochen couldn't help but scoff. Even as a single corpse, its cultivation shouldn't be neglected. If it were outside, there would likely be corpses everywhere. Suddenly, a flush of excitement crossed Big Boss's face. I remember Rong Mingxian being quite timid. I wonder if she's been scared to tears. However, the scene before him made Big Boss shudder. Impossible. Her points. We never dreamed that Kuan would actually come and ask us for extreme sugar syrup, and a whole 2 portions worth. After some back and forth with Princess Kuan, we managed to escape danger. Feiyu was somewhat angrily criticizing our recklessness. On the other hand, Studyholic Woman appeared more rational, gently inquiring about the reason for our corpse-like state. After some discussion, she deduced some clues. Remember, everything in the illusion is projected synchronously. The fact that the competition continues in this situation can only mean that this is also part of the test. Having said that, she prepared to conduct some experiments. Hearing this, Feiyu looked dumbfounded. Does that mean what we just did was also seen? Meanwhile, the audience outside was already roaring with laughter. Look at those idiots. That day, humanity remembered the fear of being dominated by being shot dead. I'm not afraid of that. After all, what's broken is broken. Might as well just go for it. A moment later, after using the Lingji to capture Mickey, we confirmed our conjecture about the connection between Lingji and spirit beasts. Looking at the cute little creature, even our straight-laced Feiyu couldn't help but exude a strong, girlish aura. Can you really get points like this? Looking at study-holic woman's dejected figure, the straight-laced girl couldn't help but sigh. Women are so confusing. After discussion, the four of us decided to act together. Since we're here, we might as well make the best of it. Being a freeloader in someone else's team isn't so bad. Just then, a furry ball suddenly slammed into my fragile head. Then, with lightning speed, it disappeared from my hand. Miss Rome, do you have anything to say? I'm on the verge of tears. No. Very good. You must find all the Lingji within your field of vision. Understand. After the third search, everyone except me earned points. After all, I just want to be an insignificant little nobody. Meanwhile, little spy Ball was hiding in the shadows, constantly complaining. It's all your fault that I have to go through all this trouble. Anyway, this is an illusion. It's normal for accidents to happen. With that, it stomped off. Looking at the bickering couple working hard before me, I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. Ning Xuan, kill it. Let's go find the next one. Seeing me hesitate, Feiyu shoved Mickey into my hands. Stop shaking. Just press it gently. However, it wasn't my fragile heart that was trembling, but Princess Kuin and her overflowing extreme sugar syrup. Just as everyone was fleeing, another crisis struck. A second Princess Kuin flanked us from behind, creating a pincer attack. Oh no, I never thought the skills I learned would come in handy in another world and be so effective. Facing Princess Kuin's pincer attack, I couldn't help but recall memories of my past life. I remember my teacher once saying that it's not the red cape that attracts the bull, but the bullfighter's swaying body. So, guys, I have a bold idea. Hearing this, everyone looked at me expectantly, so I began to explain my plan. Princess Kuin is attacking from both sides. If we sway our bodies to attract her attention, and then dodge when she charges, we can make them collide with each other. Now follow me and repeatedly jump side to side. This sight shocked everyone. Just as I was urging everyone to jump, Princess Kuin charged wildly, sending me flying. As my body swayed and fell, the blood within me flowed slowly, tinged with sorrow. It must be conveyed, no. Don't stop. Such a moving advance. It tugs at everyone's heartstrings. Ning Xian's painstaking efforts absolutely cannot be in vain. Then, with lightning speed, I leaped up, such agile steps. And this situation just happened to provoke Nyonyo's fury. Just as Nyonyo was unable to seize the money, everyone dodged aside at the same time. Following a violent crash, our dear princess Nyonyo finally succumbed, full of resentment. Seeing this, Big Sister happily used facial cleanser to give me a facial. To be honest, the effect wasn't bad. And this crime scene happened to be witnessed by Feiyu, who had rushed over. It's all mine, damn it. After some arguing, Feiyu roughly understood what had happened. She then began to share her discoveries. According to her investigation, all the Yuan Show military personnel were driving the contestants towards the outer circle. And the closer to the center, the more spiritual plants there were. Hearing this, everyone suddenly understood and expressed their gratitude to Feiyu. But what ulterior motives could our Feiyu possibly have? She just wanted to go into the depths of the woods with me. That's all. I was completely bewildered by this. Before I could react, the Blue Robe Master arrived. Our big sister understood too, leaving only certain clueless men looking confused. As the saying goes, if there are more herbs, the speed of allocating points for singles and doubles will also be faster. Hearing this, I finally understood Feiyu's good intentions. She truly is a kind and beautiful person. After some pleasantries, everyone began to leave. A moment later, Feiyu and I arrived in the depths of the secret realm to search for spiritual plants. I remember in the story, Feiyu accidentally fell into a cave and found rare spiritual plants, gaining a large number of points. If I'm by her side, will I interfere with the plot? Should I just find an excuse to slip away? Just then, Feiyu, having finished picking fruit, waved to me gently and jumped down from the branch. What bad intentions could our Feiyu possibly have? Such a graceful and delicate figure, and such a noble and elegant demeanor, truly worthy of praise. What the heck? As soon as I move, monsters appear. Is the point of this exam just to participate? After all, humans have their limits. Watching Feiyu fall into the cave, I couldn't help but worry about her. Hearing me, Feiyu called out to reassure me that she was safe and that there were many precious spiritual plants in the cave and she wanted to explore. I believed her without a doubt. After all, this is the heroine's opportunity. I should find something to help pull her up. Meanwhile, Feiyu did seem a little worried. Countless yuan beasts surged around her, as if they were about to devour her at any moment. Why? Why is it that every time I want to be with Ning Xian, I encounter trash like you? Seeing this, the little monsters finally sensed the danger. However, it was too late. Fei Yu was already tearing through them. After a long while, Fei Yu climbed out of the terrifying cave unharmed and said she wanted to help me earn points. I felt a pang of sadness. Points are just fleeting things. Listen, young lady, points aren't important. What matters is participating in the competition, understand? Suddenly, a longhorn blast echoed through the illusionary realm. Knowing the plot, I immediately recognized it as the assembly call. I grabbed Fei Yu and ran toward the sound. A short while later, we arrived at the assembly point. With the fifth blow of the horn, a blue barrier enveloped everyone. It blocked the contestants who were arriving late. Now then, please come forward and present your findings. Just then, a contestant suddenly charged towards me, and in a corner I couldn't see, a scroll quietly fell. Excuse me, miss, but this scroll is yours. I was dumbfounded. Just then, some latecomer spoke up. Your Honor, I saw it fall from her. As the commotion grew louder, the judge on the stage called for order. Report. This young lady cheated during the exam. These words instantly alerted everyone. As the scroll in her hand unfurled, the answers to the exam questions were revealed to the judges. Young lady, do you have anything else to say? Everyone started accusing me of cheating. I was bewildered. This was impossible. How could there be developments outside the plot again? I immediately pleaded my innocence to the officials, but it was useless. Even the defenses of those who knew me only made things worse. Seeing this, the first prince grew impatient and ordered the guards to take me away for punishment. But the big boss stopped them. As the situation escalated, the audience began hurling insults. My heart pounded. Who was framing me? Your Highnesses, I said, bowing. Although I can't explain where this paper came from, I can prove that I didn't cheat. Me, a known academic failure, was actually going to turn the tables and show up all the experts. I argued vehemently. I didn't cheat. Such audacity at such a young age. Just because you say you didn't doesn't mean you didn't. Even if the highest authority came down here, I still wouldn't admit to cheating. The first prince started mocking me. I remained resolute. If I could have avoided it, I wouldn't have resorted to this. As my fingers slowly descended, a bright and dazzling scoreboard appeared dramatically before everyone. The crowd gasped. Even Fei Yu trembled. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. It all started when I arrived in the illusionary realm and heard that BAG sound. Looking at the pathetic weed beneath my feet, my scoreboard suddenly flashed a point deduction. What the heck? Why did I lose points? Suddenly, a second flower vanished behind me with a pained sound. Are you kidding me? Who loses 2 points right off the bat? Well, I had to admit defeat. Everyone else was searching for medicinal herbs, while I was taking slow, deliberate steps, terrified of stepping on something I shouldn't. Just then, in my caution, I bumped into a handsome guy in blue. After some pleasantries, I learned these injured people were also part of the competition. Suddenly, a sound alerted us. Princess Nyo charged towards me with terrifying momentum. I scrambled up a tree like a monkey. As Princess Nyo collided with the tree, it wasn't just fruit that went flying with me, but also countless lost points. Hey, what did I do? Later, whether teaming up with the studyholic woman or trying to pull Fei Yu out of something, I managed to destroy precious herbs with pinpoint accuracy. Haha, destroy it all. I don't care anymore. Looking at the dazzling minus 250 above my head, everyone was stunned. Cheating. Impossible. Who cheats and gets this score? As everyone stood in stunned silence, a cry of injustice broke the quiet. A chubby bystander sobbed, I believe Miss Rome. How could anyone cheat and get the lowest score in history? Like a wave, support for me swelled. That's right. Miss Rome is innocent. How could anyone cheat and get minus 250? She earned that score. She's genuinely that bad. That day, the mastermind's malicious accusations were shattered by my undeniable ineptitude, and along with it, my last shred of dignity as an academic failure. What happens when you pinch the big boss's cheek? You get tackled, of course. After my spectacular failure, I stood alone in the pavilion. I'd proven my innocence, but the memory of the crowd's mocking laughter still stung. This was such a public execution, I just wanted to disappear. Suddenly, a voice interrupted my embarrassment. Big Boss, treading lightly on the air, said slowly, instead of messing around here, why not join me for a drink? I immediately became alert. Little children shouldn't drink alcohol. taking the fragrant and sweet drink. I downed it in one gulp. How should I put it? This plain water has no taste. I waited for Big Boss to tease me about my ability to hold my liquor. Like a hungry tiger pouncing on its prey, I grabbed Big Boss's cute little face. Whose adorable child is this? Imagine a 1,000-year-old child being humiliated like this. Could you endure it? He flicked my forehead with a finger. I cried out in pain. Big Boss, on the other hand, gave a wicked smile. Seeing this, I became furious. Tears of it, mixed with a slight tipsiness, streamed down my face. With Big Boss's sudden silence, I burst into tears. You're all laughing at me. I've been studying so hard. But why? I've been studying for nights. Why did I still lose so many points? And you're all still laughing at me. This situation left Big Boss at a loss. Clearly, he was a one-logo who had never comforted a girl. Suddenly, a brilliant rainbow erupted from my mouth. That day, the all-conquering Big Boss witnessed the most unforgettable sight of his life. After some fussing, Big Boss managed to drag me back to my dorm room. Then, holding his buzzing head, he prepared to leave. Suddenly, a pang of sympathy surged within him. Seeing as you've worked so hard, I'll give you a small reward. And so, something strange happened. The next day, I abruptly sat up bewildered. Although I couldn't remember what happened last night. Thought, why did I lay such a huge egg? Talk about reality. It's like making you do a blood test with your egg. Could you bring yourself to do it? Just as I was staring at my egg, unsure what to do, my know-it-all little spy ball arrived. Just asking, is laying an egg this big normal in this world? Totally normal. Look, my egg hatched this little thing. But this egg was a gift from Bei Xiaochen. He must have given it to you as a reward for your excellent performance in the competition. Looking at the fluffy little squirrel, I couldn't put it down. Feiyu blushed, recalling Big Boss's words. From now on, let him climb trees. What if you break through the floor again? You're the fat one. Your whole family is fat. I quickly changed the subject. Teach me how to make a contract with the egg. According to Feiyu, I just needed to add a drop of blood. But just then, a sense of danger washed over me. Unaware of the situation, Feiyu continued chatting with me. My face, however, grew increasingly pale. After a moment of silence, that I burst into tears. Sticking myself with such a big needle hurts. Seeing this, the little squirrel sighed helplessly. In a flash, it bit my finger, drawing blood. Thank you. You're so sweet. However, unbeknownst to me, in a hidden corner, a certain little squirrel was facing the greatest life or death crisis it had ever known. With the blood applied, a shining snail appeared before us. Feiyu explained that it was a defensive primordial insect, perfect for weaklings. Just stack the armor and take the hits. After learning a few precautions, Feiyu prepared to leave for the competition. However, knowing the plot, I wasn't worried at all. Could it be the finals without me? I remembered that in the story, to prevent cheating, they deliberately created a diversion. First, they conducted a full inspection of the contestants, then isolated them for a day before the exam, rather than being mocked at the competition. Thought, wouldn't it be better to stay home and raise snails? Suddenly, a small notebook caught my eye. Isn't that the notebook little spy ball just brought in? I need to return it. Suddenly, the mocking laughter of the crowd echoed in my mind again. But this time, I wasn't afraid. Haha, laugh all you want. A bunch of irrelevant people. They're not as important as my Feiyu. However, if nothing unexpected happens, then something unexpected will happen. I never dreamed that, even knowing the plot, I would be forced down by this beast in human clothing. I was sitting in the carriage on my way to the exam, notebook in hand, when suddenly a handsome young man in blue, covered in wounds, darted right in front of it. Worried, I went to check on him, and what I learned was quite a shock. He was being chased. Couldn't he have gotten in the carriage before telling me that? Just then, a shout interrupted our conversation. Don't worry, Mississippi. This is the fastest carriage in the capital. Come with me. Let's set sail. With that, the horse, as if injected with adrenaline, bolted towards the horizon, leaving two lonely figures behind. Wait a minute, I haven't gotten on yet. Before I could even complain, the pursuers were hot on our heels. After a frantic dash with Rong Mingxian, we managed to escape. Looking at Rong Mingxian, despondent about missing the finals, I felt a pang of guilt. Why aren't you going to the finals? The handsome young man's face darkened. He immediately started to explain. What are you talking about, Miss Rong? I was being chased, wasn't I? I wasn't convinced. The entire route to the competition is patrolled by Prince Xian's guards. And why did you plant that scroll to frame me? Seeing that he couldn't hide it any longer, Rong Mingxian burst out laughing. They say Miss Rong is impulsive and brainless. It seems you're not so foolish after all. Let me see. It's because I pulled you with my injured left hand, wasn't it? And those assassins weren't very convincing either. You noticed all of that, didn't you? I, on the other hand, was completely bewildered. Not really. Only 3 people had contact with me in the secret realm. Do you think Princess Zhou has the brains for this? Rong Mingxian agreed. What about Miss Feng? She's quite clever. Hearing this, I blushed. Miss Feng, if she wanted to stop me from advancing, she had simpler, more direct methods. Rong Mingxian admitted his mistake. I was still puzzled. We have no prior grievances. Why frame me? Rong Mingxian gritted his teeth. Do you remember a year ago? It was because you went to the brothel looking for Prince Xian that you exposed the Zhao and Lu family scandal. I didn't. I wasn't there. Suddenly, a memory flashed through my mind. Wait, I hadn't even transmigrated a year ago. Could it be because of that incident? That's right. Madame Lu is my mother. It's all because of you. My mother was divorced, my father humiliated, and even I was suspected of being illegitimate. I almost started crying. I'm so sorry about that, but this seems unethical. Rong Mingxian scoffed. I'm not here to discuss right and wrong with you today. I'm here to make you feel my pain. Prepare yourself. Other villains would just, do something by now, but he's actually reasoning with me. I don't want to hurt him. Rong Mingxian, filled with rage, was preparing to unleash his fury on me. No way, no way. He's not going to hit me, is he? Rong Mingxian clenched his fists. Mere violence can't compare to my suffering. What I'm going to do to you is far worse. So, what do you do when you're trapped in a villain's monologue? Ask him questions, of course. That way, he'll be forced to answer them systematically. Ahem, you got away with it last time at the Fuji incident, but this time, you won't escape the blame for sabotaging a fellow competitor. I was startled. So you weren't just absent from the story, that you were eliminated in the preliminaries. Rong Mingxian grew even more arrogant, threatening to ruin both my reputation and the Rong families. He ranted about how he was only good enough for last place in the competition, so he might as well focus on scheming. He even planned to have someone give false testimony, humiliating me in front of my beloved Prince Xian. His vengeful ambitions were so grand, I almost felt bad telling him that the competition is actually tomorrow. Even if Prince Xian were here, he'd just take you to the exam hall. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. He ordered his men to investigate. The ensuing silence left Rong Mingxian awkwardly digging his toes into the ground. Curse it. Even if I can't ruin your reputation today, I'll still make sure your precious Prince Xian knows what a vicious woman you are. You probably already knew about this a year ago. Rong Mingxian choked on his words. I don't care. I don't care. Sooner or later, I'll ruin your reputation. You'll be laughed at everywhere you go. It might hurt a little, but I feel the need to explain something. Actually, these 2 achievements seem to have been unlocked a while ago. Seeing this pretty boy stunned me again. Then, endless rage mixed with resentment poured out. It's still not enough. My pain surpasses yours. You can never understand the pain of being separated from my birth mother. I'll let you feel the pain of separation from your flesh and blood. What if, just what if, there's a possibility that I'm just the Rong family's adopted daughter, separated for over a decade, that kind of thing? Hearing these words, the pretty boy couldn't hold it in anymore. After a moment of leaning against the wall like an old man, exhausted, he sat down wearily. Just go. I'm finished. Seeing the pretty boy's efforts, I felt a pang of sympathy. As I left, I couldn't help but mumble an apology. Although unintentional, it was extremely insulting. This directly broke the pretty boy's last psychological defense. Mom, you were right. I'm not cut out to be a bad guy. A moment later, Bei Xiaoqin's father, having learned the news, planned to go home and scold Bei Xiaoqin for his impulsive behavior. However, the scene before him made him freeze. He saw a radiant, enlightened Bei Xiaoqin respond with detachment. I apologize for my past transgressions. They're all like fleeting clouds. Thanks to Miss Rong, I now understand that clinging to revenge is meaningless. From now on, I will pursue a new meaning in life. Let's part ways here. If this were the college entrance exam, would you be happy going in or happy coming out? Having reformed Bei Xiaoqin, I hurried towards Xian Wang, indicating that I wanted to give the notebook to Fei Yu. To avoid misunderstandings, Xian Wang accompanied me. The silence along the way made me feel a little awkward, so I asked, will you laugh at me for the stupid thing I did yesterday? However, Xianwang comforted me. This family matter was very difficult. You just happened to be remembered. I wasn't involved, so naturally I won't criticize you. Besides, I don't think I've even tried hard enough myself, so what right do I have to judge others? Listening to his warm words, my heart stirred. I immediately responded, "Good brother. I really appreciate it." See, a moment later, we arrived at the examination hall. However, the scene before us made us freeze. Such passionate love-hate drama. Such exciting ups and downs. And these two innocent young women who haven't been caught up in it. Did we open this the wrong way? Just before Bei Xiaochan left home, Fei Yu, having finished her entrance check, noticed something was amiss. Of the 16 finalists, only 15 had arrived. Looking closely, oh great, it was Bei Xiaochan who was missing. The first time little spy Ball saw him, he sensed a strong malice emanating from him. And just as Bei Xiaochan was about to interact with me, little spy Ball, having learned the news, maliciously added fuel to the fire. Seeing this, Fei Yu panicked. She immediately waved her hand, signaling Bei Xiaochan to add something strong to the soup to knock everyone out. However, the perceptions of humans and animals are not the same. What she meant by ups and downs was passionate sparring. The situation gradually became tense. Seeing that I had arrived safely, Fei Yu immediately switched to a 3 parts innocent, 7 parts bewildered look of concern for my well-being. I didn't say much about it, just handed the notebook to Fei Yu. After all, Bei Xiaochan hadn't done anything too outrageous. It wouldn't be good if it affected Fei Yu's exam. Just asking, two people who care about each other, what bad intentions could they have? But, question, why does your relationship seem so subtle? Just then, a discordant voice suddenly emerged. Xiao Fei, looking ragged, cried out, "Miss Feng, you're the only one left." Startled, Miss Feng spread her arms, blocking Xiao Fei's 8-pack abs. After all, that's something best kept for private viewing. Unexpectedly, Xiao Fei declared, "I'm going to win this competition, and then use the prize money as part of the betrothal gifts to marry you." This completely flustered Miss Feng. See, I told you, there's definitely something going on between these two. However, the two fathers who had just arrived didn't think so. Look, just like that, the originally tense situation has become more relaxed, leaving only Prince Xian, who's been bewildered the entire time. Do you know how miserable it is to be a subordinate of the fourth prince? You're either forced to take the blame, or your wife and children are persuaded to run away. Now, even the mid-stage boss has been eliminated early. How is the plot supposed to continue? Just then, a camera-shy villain strategist stepped forward. The important thing now is the position of the Rong family head in the Yindan tournament. And we've all witnessed Kuin's strength. With a little maneuvering. The next day, the Yindan tournament was held as scheduled, to avoid being laughed at in the audience. My darling specifically asked Prince Xian for help. Prince Xian, being a bit tsundere, took me to his private VIP seat, even saying warmly that it was just a small favor. See, they're both mommy's precious little darlings. Meanwhile, Fei Yu, who was checking the equipment, was interrupted by a handsome figure. "Oh, miss, let's have a showdown." Fei Yu, on the other hand, was silent for a moment. Taking a deep breath, she stood up straight and declared, "I'm not here for a showdown. I'm here to defeat you," as agreed. With a scornful laugh from the man, their battle began. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Chef King competition has finally begun. First, let's do a random interview. I owe my success today to my brilliant speech. Young Master Zhou, do you have any victory Shenyang for this competition? I will definitely win first place, and then go to the Feng family to propose. Seeing this, the young lady immediately panicked. "No, I haven't. I never said I'd marry you." And how could the straightforward young Fei understand a young maiden's shyness? "Don't you want to marry me? Haven't we always liked each other? Was I mistaken?" Seeing the young lady's flustered reaction, young Fei was amused. "So are you full? If so, let's turn our attention to another pair of innocent young lovers. With such a tense atmosphere, would you mind sharing your story?" The man was about to start his trash talk, but Fei hit him with a rapid-fire triple shot. "I don't know this young master. Ignoring him seems rude, but I'm nervous about the competition starting." The host was delighted. Beauty is justice, as they say. He then had the man who tried to hit on her escorted back to his place. Ladies, you need to protect yourselves. Some men who randomly hit on you are up to no good. Seeing Feiyu let the man go, little Spyball was puzzled. Isn't that guy just Kuin in disguise? Why didn't you expose him? Feiyu, however, was fearless. He's only here because someone is pulling strings. Exposing him would be like declaring war on an unknown enemy. Besides, I've already made up my mind. I want to win with my skill in the competition. Look at this close-up of the Banyao. Can some random machine snake compare to this? After a standard opening exchange, the final round finally began. As the host's words fell, countless dazzling flames erupted within the arena. First, young Fei unleashed a fierce fire. Then the young lady displayed her superior aerial control. Even the man who tried to hit on her showed surprising skill. Feiyu, however, closed her eyes, secretly employing the power of modern science. My friends, times have changed. As steam billowed from the pot, wisps of azure medicinal essence slowly seeped into Feiyu's hand. To others, this scene looked like certain failure. But Feiyu smiled slyly, explaining that this was a refining method invented by her good friend, and vowed to use it to win the competition. This is for you. Tell me, are you impressed? Hearing this, the judging elder looked at her approvingly, then examined the medicinal essence in Feiyu's hand. Suddenly, a fierce burst of flames caught everyone's attention. Young Fei had begun refining the medicinal ingredients. It was a 5th grade Danyao. Should I congratulate you too? This made the young lady blush. Suddenly, a shout rang out. Daughter, even if you like that scoundrel, you can't lose. Beat him and make him marry into our family. The father's words opened up a whole new world for the young lady. Suddenly, a chaotic surge of purple energy erupted, startling the surrounding contestants. What is this unrefined technique? Just as people began to praise the display, Kuin's smugness captivated the audience. Trash is trash. Let me show you what true skill looks like. With that, a powerful aura erupted from him. I can't believe that show-off is actually using an unrefined technique. A mediocre pill at best. Damn it. Such skill naturally drew the admiration of the judging elder. But this kid can't handle praise. Before the words were even out, he started trash-talking Feiyu. Feiyu, on the other hand, simply chuckled. The medicinal ingredients in her hand instantly bloomed with light. The pure spiritual energy stimulated everyone present. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. With the ringing of the bell, the contestants all finalized their pills at the last moment. As expected, young Fei and young lady both refined rank 5 lower pills. However, this didn't stop their playful banter. Kuin, on the other hand, produced a rank 5 middle pill. As for Feiyu, she only had a rank 4 pill. Adapting a recipe isn't the same as making it up. Alchemy isn't cooking, because Feiyu claimed she had refined a modified rank 5 pill. Kuin was now sobbing, denouncing Feiyu's fabrication. Even I'm confused. This wasn't in the script. Clearly, this matter needed a professional's judgment. The judging elders exchanged a knowing glance. With a wave of their arms, they collected all the pills. After careful examination, Kuin's pill was deemed superior in both potency and rank. However, when the judges looked at Feiyu's pill, everyone gasped. 99% purity. Even if we ground up our own ribs and made soup, we couldn't achieve this level of refinement. The crowd began to murmur. Miss Rome, hasn't she only been studying alchemy for a few months? How could she be so monstrously talented? Hearing this, the judging elder was ecstatic. He jumped off the platform and rushed towards her. Hold on a second. The judging isn't over yet. Seeing this, the elder composed himself slightly. There was indeed a legendary alchemist who modified the cleansing heart pill used for detoxification into the odorless cleansing heart pill, which doesn't require an unrefined technique. But yours seems different. Feiyu smiled. That's right. This is my twice modified pill. Hearing this, Kuin couldn't contain himself. He jumped up and started spewing insults. Modifying isn't the same as making things up. What if the modification failed? The championship is still mine. Ugh, I'm so angry. This guy is so annoying. Can't he just let me relax for a few episodes? He just has to force me to come out and scold him. The elders were also moved by Kuin's words. Although his attitude was poor, his point wasn't entirely invalid. And so, everyone present began debating the pill's rank and effects. Just then, Feiyu stepped forward. If it can neutralize an unrefined technique, wouldn't that prove it's the odorless cleansing heart pill? The elders agreed. Feiyu smiled. You said I couldn't refine a pill without an unrefined technique. Do you dare lend me your snake venom? Idare. He placed the snake venom in front of Feiyu. She didn't hesitate. She swallowed in one gulp. Instantly, endless pain surged through her stomach. Such courage earned her the elder's praise. As the pill took effect, a refreshing aura neutralized the toxins within her body. Even her lovely face became more rosy. She stood up and asked, "Any more questions?" Kun es peixe d'arakenet. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. This caused the crowd to cheer. After all, the proof was right before their eyes. But some were happy, while others were not. Somewhere in the audience, a handsome young man with white hair clenches fists. They say love affects your studies. But why am I the only one who failed and is now eating dog food? After a heated competition, Feiyu won the alchemy tournament without a doubt. The first prince awarded her with generous prizes, as was customary. The host, seeing this opportunity, stepped forward to ask for Feiyu's acceptance speech. Feiyu, in turn, cast a warm glance in my direction, speaking of the support and encouragement I had given her. Something about always being there for her, never leaving her side. Such brilliant glory we shall share together. I'm simply amazing, raising such a big kid, even filming with their mom. And such touching words naturally moved the elders. Immediately, they raised their hands and sent out a wave of spiritual energy. In a moment, I was transported to Feiyu's side, leaving behind a bewildered Xian King. "Where's my wife?" Seeing this scene, the unspoken silence spoke volumes. Like a panther, I embraced Feiyu. Although I already knew the outcome, I was still a little excited. Seeing this, Feiyu shyly patted my shoulder. And at this very moment, someone was overjoyed. I won't say who. A while later, after the ceremony, I went to the back hall for a celebratory meal. Suddenly, an argument interrupted my eating. Realizing it was my young lady, she started complaining about young Fei-Fei's ignorance. Those 3 judges came from the Wanqing Holy Realm. Their purpose was to recruit disciples from the Western sects. And now you're telling me you know nothing about this. Seeing this, I comforted her. After all, it might be like a long-distance relationship after college entrance exams. Unexpectedly, young Fei-Fei didn't care. What's there to choose? Wherever you go, I'll go. Ah, this Feiyu. My Feiyu. However, the scene before me made me shudder. 3 top human scholars and a monstrously talented prodigy were engaged in an inhuman, mysterious exchange of knowledge. As a newbie, I trembled at this sight. Elder Ningxian just happened to have something to ask. Following the elder's footsteps, we arrived at their temporary residence. However, the scene before us nearly scared the crap out of the 3 of them. A handsome young man with white hair was standing on Kuin's head, mocking the 3 people in front of him with an air of arrogance. From 8,000-year-old young lads to teenage old men, no one could resist Bei Xiaoqin's imposing presence. Seeing the elders who had come to the living room, the 3 were unable to stand. Didn't we agree that the lender wouldn't come? We've been totally backstabbed. Seeing the groveling elders, Feiyu was dumbfounded. However, I wasn't surprised. The way of righteousness, cultivated for so many years, and you can't even see through this trash. I was stunned. These minor characters were actually in disguise. With Bei Xiaoqin's glare, 3 inspiring, philosophical figures suddenly appeared before our eyes. Holy crap, I believe it if you told me Bei Xiaoqin had 3,000 beautiful men. Seeing this, the elders slowly explained the reason. After all, after cultivating to Bei Xiaoqin's level, one can maintain eternal youth. The disguise was just to make them look older. Hearing this, Bei Xiaoqin was displeased. Keep pretend until you can't even recognize trash. Seeing the elders trying to explain further, Bei Xiaoqin became furious. Not recognizing me is one thing, but you can't even recognize a 5th grade, winching Handan pill, and even make someone take poison to prove themselves. Have you been refining pills in your dog's stomach? The elders could only repeatedly apologize. Seeing this, Feiyu hurried forward to defend the 3 elders. This seemed to provoke Bei Xiaoqin even more. You choose to take poison to prove yourself. What if you fail? If you're always so reckless when facing difficulties, have you considered the consequences? Suddenly, the figure in my mind drifted further away, silently separated by yin and yang. Seeing this, a restlessness stirred within me. I was clearly afraid of this person, yet now I felt the urge to comfort him. That powerless figure. A knock on the door interrupted this awkward situation. Seeing that it was the examinee, the elders were overjoyed. They immediately dashed to Chi's side and, without waiting for a reaction, dragged him away from this chaotic scene, leaving behind the helpless figure of a certain white-haired elder. You guys are truly dogs. Suddenly, Fei Yu's apology startled the elder. Hearing this, Bei Xiaoqun rubbed his forehead in frustration. Elder Ling, go and take care of Kuan Kuan. Then, stroking Fei Yu's hair, Bei Xiaoqun gently comforted her. I'm sorry. I lost my composure just now. You're in a special situation right now. I'll take you to the Wanxing realm later. After all, your mother's belongings are still there. Hearing this, Fei Yu tightened her grip and agreed with a smile. But the resentment in my heart couldn't help but churn. So, Miss Rong, please take good care of Fei Yu. This whole thing is giving me a massive headache. From now on, this kid is my mother. Even my real mother doesn't make me this exasperated. The robust-looking guy also vanished. Seeing Fei Yu still a bit dazed, I grabbed his little hand and walked away. Seeing this, Fei Yu calmed down a bit. Whatever. As long as I can be with Ning Xian, everything's fine. That guy is furious, truly furious. One moment, Kuan Kuan's father is still plotting how to weasel out of the betrothal and the head of the Fei Yu family position. The next, he's flattened on the ground, face down in the dirt, by an overwhelming aura. The newcomer appeared with a benevolent face and greeted us warmly. Then he calmly said, there are two kinds of people I hate most in my life. The first are those who don't keep their promises. The second is that bastard surnamed Rome. You two seem to fit the bill. So, make some time to entertain me. That day, the second elder experienced the most unforgettable first time of his life. Meanwhile, as we were heading to the Elder Council, we felt something was increasingly amiss. Just now, we were receiving the elder's care and concern. The third elder sighed with some exasperation and then began explaining the betrothal agreement. I immediately understood. Someone's just being a sore loser and trying to weasel out of it. The third elder smiled wryly and began explaining the family's predicament. My father, on the other hand, seemed to have accepted it. After all, these were the consequences of his past actions. However, this situation only fueled my curiosity. I remember the story portrayed my father as a figurehead. Although he was the head of the Rome family, the elders had already usurped his power. And because of the internal power struggles, the Rome family had been declining for the past decade or so. It wasn't until Fei Yu's return that they, along with Prince Xian, fought back. Based on the timeline, we should be approaching the part of the story about the second elder. I just feel sorry for my Fei Yu having to confront such a powerful family at such a young age. Suddenly, a noise broke the silence. Kuan Kuan's father barged in, ignoring the servant's attempts to stop him. Everyone tensed up. Hey, big brother, have a seat. I'll give you a shoulder rub. Rong Fu, on the other hand, looked disgusted. What are you doing here? Oh, the second elder, and I suddenly realized that Fei Yu is a pillar of talent. So, we're holding a family meeting to announce this. Keep making things up, you sly old fox. If we believed a word you said, it would be an insult to our intelligence. Rong Fu flatly refused. Kuan Kuan's father, on the other hand, was nearly in tears. He smeared snot and tears all over Rong Fu, as if something terrible would happen if he couldn't convince him. So, under Kuan Kuan's father's insistent invitation, we reluctantly headed towards the perilous Elder Council. When someone's being overly solicitous, there's usually something fishy going on. And so, a dramatic family drama, a battle of wits against thin air began. I've seen more TV dramas than you played mind games. According to my memories from my past life, this trip to the Elder Council is bound to be a bloodbath. But with my cleverness, I saw through their scheme. Isn't there a possibility that given the second elder's despicable nature, he might try to expel us for stepping out of the carriage with our left foot first? I narrow my eyes. I wouldn't give him the chance to use such a petty trick. I transformed into a graceful blur, leaping from the carriage and landing firmly on the ground with both feet. This stunned my father, while the second master immediately started praising me. Miss Rong, you are truly impressive, a unique heroine among thousands. Such unusual behavior made Fei Yu and me even more wary. Seeing this, my father couldn't help but ask if I was all right. Father, I said, something's not right. The second elder must have something planned. We have to be careful. After my sound advice, the clueless duo finally understood. Don't worry. With us here, they won't be able to lay a finger on you. Just then, a respectful greeting came from up ahead. Hearing this, the clueless duo immediately rushed forward. Ooh, a new face. What are you doing guarding the gate here? That's right. Why are there two of you? After a harmonious discussion, we started walking down the hallway. But, being clever, we immediately noticed something was off. This red cloth and rope, too strange. Just then, third elder, who had been trying to mediate, suddenly darkened. A chill emanated from behind him. Could this be the new crimson gauze formation that second elder bought recently? He straightened up, blocking our path. I understand. Leave this to me. You guys go ahead. Don't worry about me. With incredible speed, third elder darted forward, overturning the decorations in front of us. You have to lead them to safety. Seeing this, father turned and left resolutely. Don't let third elder's sacrifice be in vain. However, just as one problem was solved, another arose. A line of servants respectfully presented food to us before we even sat down, muttering something about it being specially prepared by second elder. Such a blatant poisoning attempt. How could it escape our notice? You must be starving after all that. Here, sister, have some nice fruit. After that, whether it was something brought by the servants or a random weed by the roadside, we meticulously examined everything inside and out. Overcoming numerous obstacles, we finally arrived at the final hall. And as expected, what greeted us was that dreadful crimson gauze formation and that deceptively friendly, inviting smile. Second elder, what are you up to? Oh, I'm just upholding the wager, here to make Feiyu the head of the family. Seeing this, I immediately warned father, there's definitely a catch. Maybe it involves a debt of billions. Father agreed wholeheartedly and flatly refused. Hearing this, second elder's face crumpled, as if some white-haired Grim Reaper was about to reduce him to ashes. Absolutely not. Meanwhile, Grand Elder, having heard about father causing a ruckus in the Elders' Council, rushed over. Stop fighting. However, the scene before him made him tremble. Second Elder and second uncle were tearfully tugging at father's trousers, blubbering about Feiyu's competence. Yin Xian, stop staring. Feiyu, you're pulling my hair. Outside the main gate, only Grand Elder's helpless voice remained. Grand Elder was dumbfounded. He had assumed father and second elder would be brawling over the family leadership, but instead, they were engaging in this philosophical debate. Seeing this, a bewildered Grand Elder inquired about the situation. Second Elder immediately began praising Feiyu's exceptional talent, saying that it didn't matter whether Kuan became the head of the family or not. Just then, Third Elder, having dealt with the Crimson Gauze formation, burst through the door. Absolutely not. Feiyu is still a civilian. How can such a decision be made so hastily? Where am I? Who am I? Can't you just argue like you used to? However, although Kuan is exceptionally talented, she is also violent and cruel. Therefore, since Feiyu won first place, she should naturally replace Kuan as the head of the family. Second Elder, having lost the election, was overjoyed. On the other hand, those who had successfully ascended to power looked utterly bewildered. This is so ridiculous, it's beyond ridiculous. It's peak ridiculousness. Just then, a servant burst through the door, panicked. What? You say the Xian King wants to speak with me privately. Feiyu immediately became alert. Meanwhile, the two oblivious elders continued praising the supposed perfect match between Feiyu and the Xian King. The next moment, a deathly silence enveloped them. A moment later, I met with the Xian King in the back courtyard. He took out the listening device he had planted in Second Elder's courtyard and asked if I recognized the voice. So, that's the scheming Bei Shaochen. Well, how should I put this? He's sort of on our side. Hearing this, the Xian King seemed slightly relieved. He said the person's origins were unknown, and he thought it might be an enemy of the Rong family. Just as I was about to defend Bei Shaochen, the Xian King played the rest of the recording. Suddenly, a series of philosophical and hostile pronouncements filled the air. So disgusting. If I fell into his hands, would I also suffer such a terrifying fate? Are you sure you're all right? But come to think of it, this explains the strange behavior of Second Elder and Kuan's father. Originally, Feiyu relied on luck to cultivate a higher-level enhancement pill. Now, with a new cultivation method, she chose the more familiar invigoration pill. Then, to detoxify, she swallowed a snake, which is what made Bei Shaochen furious. So that's why they become Feiyu's sycophants. Her protective uncle has stepped in. Just then, Feiyu, hearing my pain groans, rushed in to catch me in the act. She also asked if I was all right. I panicked a little. Since this was what the important person wanted, I couldn't mess things up. I'd have to treat Zai even better in the future. A sudden inspiration struck me. Since Feiyu had previously shown interest in Xian Wang, why not seize this opportunity to bring them together? Wang Yin, I said, we haven't properly discussed the alchemy techniques from last time. We should have a meal together and go into more detail. However, plans never survive contact with reality. Normally, shouldn't a date involve pleasant conversation and sweet nothings? Why are you two so engrossed in business? I'm so frustrated. Other people flirt in workplace dramas, but you two are discussing business in a romance drama. Fine, since Zai Zai is focused on her career, I, as her mother, shouldn't interfere. Just then, a commotion upstairs caught my attention. The next moment, a foot suddenly burst through the floor, followed by the figure of a young girl. Don't be afraid, I'll help you. After some slick maneuvering, I successfully grabbed the little girl's ankle and gave her a perfect headbutt. Ouch! That palm was too high up, don't blame me. Do you know how utterly dejected this little girl looked? Not only was she forced into a headbutt, but she also had to endure strange looks from others. Am I interrupting your date by being alive? The little girl, after receiving my help, gritted her teeth and expressed her gratitude. Thanks for your help. Don't help me next time. Suddenly, the commotion outside the door startled the little girl, causing her to tremble and quickly hide behind me. Hearing the noise, Zai Zai opened the door. However, the sight before her made Fei Yu's body tremble. A perverted little girl with a nosebleed was shamelessly pinching Ming Xian's tummy, a place even Fei Yu herself hadn't dared to touch. Zai Zai, stop. This little girl seems to be injured. I have a pill that will make you never feel pain again. Are you interested? Don't come any closer. Looking in the direction of the commotion, it turned out to be the envoy from the neighboring country, Adu, looking for his daughter. Xian Wang exchanged a few polite words with him, then turned to the little girl in death's grip and said, "The person you're looking for is here." After a reprimand, Adu scolded his daughter for her unruly behavior. Don't wear such heavy makeup when you go out. Look at you now. People who don't know you would think you face-planted. I was a bit stunned. According to the plot, the little girl shouldn't appear until later. I remember after the Yandan conference, it would be the Red Emperor's birthday celebration. All the vassal states would come to offer their congratulations, leading to some unpleasant friction. As for the little girl, she's the princess appointed by the prince's grandfather. She has a free spirit, but is also a bit spoiled and willful. In the original story, she inexplicably falls for Xian Wang, causing a lot of misunderstandings for Zai Zai. But now, it seems Fei Yu and Xian Wang's relationship is almost purely business. If a third party were to interfere now, wouldn't this turn into a complete cuckolding situation? Moreover, judging by the little girl's shy demeanor, she seems to have already fallen for Xian Wang. The little girl was utterly mortified. It was bad enough being seen in such an embarrassing state by a woman, but now a prince shows up too. Why not just kill me now? So, the little girl decided to stay away from Xian Wang. Seeing this heartfelt scene before me, I couldn't help but feel a stir in my heart. Do I still pity them a little? Meanwhile, a handsome man who didn't want to be seen was plotting some unknown scheme for the fourth prince. Since this person wants to use his highness, he should be prepared to be used. This subordinate guarantees with his head that nothing will go wrong. Fei Yu had never been so speechless in her life. It was a rare opportunity to get close to Ning Xian, but it was ruined by that little brat. What was going on? Due to her lack of alchemy experience and inability to go to the outer world, Fei Yu could only agree to Xian Wang's request to go to the Royal Alchemy Hall for training and to help promote the new alchemy methods. Although she wanted to keep Ning Xian's techniques to herself, the current situation made it impossible. However, as soon as she arrived at the entrance, she heard people gossiping about Ning Xian being a waste and Fei Yu clinging to power. They were truly a bunch of fools who didn't know the meaning of death. But the show must go on. Fei Yu then exchanged pleasantries with the elders, taking the opportunity to introduce the new alchemy method. However, there are always some presumptuous old geezers who want to stir up trouble. One of them started sarcastically mocking Ming Xian, belittling his past incompetence. Seeing this, Fei Yu launched into her act. Yes, I'm just a country bumpkin who doesn't understand anything. I can only hope that you learned elders will take care of me. This flattery made everyone blush. If it weren't for convenience, I wouldn't bother dealing with you. That afternoon, I went to visit Fei Yu as promised. Hearing the news, Fei Yu was overjoyed. Time for a change of expression. She then rushed towards me with a pitiful look. Ming Xian, you're here. I'm so tired after working all day. On the other hand, I asked about her well-being with an ethereal air. Ning Xian, what's wrong? Supported by Fei Yu, I collapsed weakly into a chair. And it was all because of that hateful Bei Xiaochun. Because of the shock I received that morning, the figure of a certain grim reaper kept appearing in my dreams. Don't be afraid, it's just a dream. Oh, you dare come back. Mommy, help. Just like that, I ended up cultivating immortality until morning. But speaking of which, the big boss told me to take care of Feiyu. But if the big boss knew that Feiyu was being bullied in the Imperial Alchemy Hall, wouldn't he take his anger out on me? Absolutely not. I must protect Zai Zai. However, things didn't go as planned. After some intense thinking, I fell fast asleep. Then, with a toss of my head, I landed on Feiyu's shoulder. Seeing this, Feiyu blushed. Actually, this is quite nice. Just then, an explosion shattered the beautiful moment. Which idiot did that? I ran towards the source of the explosion. What appeared was an alchemy room engulfed in flames. It's all your fault. If it weren't for your crappy new alchemy method, I wouldn't have blown up the furnace. Those were pills meant for His Majesty. Can you take responsibility for this? Seeing this, some of the old geezers started fanning the flames, determined to make a big deal out of it. Can the distillation method even cause an explosion? Then how can you prove this method is safe? Hearing this, someone wasn't happy. Then how can you prove it wasn't your mistake? What do you do when someone challenges you? Of course, you let your harem team back you up. Seeing his darling being bullied, Xian Wang was furious. He angrily rebuked the old geezer for his mistake. Your Highness, this servant has never blown up a furnace before. It must be a problem with this alchemy method. He then intentionally stirred up the crowd. Xian Wang's face darkened considerably. This new method has been tested hundreds of times. Wouldn't we know if it would explode? This person must be a spy planted by someone. Indeed, the revolution has not yet succeeded. Comrades still need to work hard. But as the saying goes, if there's nothing to do, just stay put and don't show your face. Look, trouble has come knocking. The old geezer shifted the blame. I heard this method was invented by Miss Rome, and she even blew up her own alchemy room. This servant is worried about everyone's safety. How dare you? You messed up, and now you're trying to shift the blame to me. Oh, so you're saying that the explosion in your alchemy room has nothing to do with you. This argument was immediately effective. Everyone began to question the feasibility of the new method. Seeing this, Feiyu couldn't stand it anymore. You want to play dirty? I can play dirtier. That's right. It's precisely because the furnace exploded that I realized the old alchemy methods were too dangerous. So I developed a safer method. I did it for everyone's sake, so selflessly. And it's also thanks to Ning Xian's help that I was able to grow so quickly. The crowd was practically moved to tears. The old geezer was speechless. She truly is the heroine. Seeing this, Xian Wang pressed his advantage. Those who are willing can try the new method themselves. As for the pills destroyed by this, gentlemen, Your Highness, this is my fault. I will replace them. With such obvious intentions, even Xian Wang, if he were a fool, could see what was going on. He dismissed the geezer with a few words. You should go back and recover. I'll get His Majesty's portion from the first prince and myself. Feiyu can handle the rest. But that's not appropriate. Oh, Xian Wang has spoken, and you dare question him. Besides, my Feiyu is the top alchemist. Are you? You're so impressive. How many awards have you won, little one? After making some arrangements, Xian Wang took us away. Seeing this, the narrator was so angry they gritted their teeth. Inside the specially prepared private room. Look at this scene. Isn't this the perfect opportunity to set them up now that they've broken up? I said, Your Highness, you knew someone would give Feiyu a hard time, so you came here specifically to back her up, right? Well, it's not entirely untrue. Mainly, I came to discuss the matter of spirit masters with the Wuha Kingdom. Hearing this, Feiyu almost laughed out loud. Great. After Xian Wang leaves, I can be alone with Ning Xian. From my perspective, does this guy even know how to talk? Can't he just coax a girl a little? Look, Feiyu is practically on the verge of tears. If that little girl were still clinging to Xian Wang at this moment, Feiyu would definitely burst into tears. Then she followed in Xian Wang's footsteps. Seeing this, Feiyu was completely stunned. Don't worry, Zai Zai. Mommy will definitely protect your relationship. Xian, what am I supposed to do after you leave? On the way, I tentatively inquired about Xian Wang's romantic history. Just then, a commotion caught our attention. As expected, they can't behave themselves for even a day. I already said I just wanted to wander around by myself. Stop following me. That part up there doesn't seem very stable. Do you want me to give you a hand? Seeing this, the little girl scoffed. What mountain haven't I climbed? I could hardly fall down, could I? However, The next moment, the loose bricks and tiles slipped, sending the little girl plummeting to the ground. Ouch! Well, you can't blame me for this, can you? What kind of sparks will fly when two mutually antagonistic women meet? Just now, the little girl fell from a height again. She didn't understand why nothing good ever happened when she encountered these two people. The little girl's father also arrived late. I told you not to wear makeup. Otherwise, people will think you fell from the roof. Dot fell down. Seeing this, Xian Wang didn't make a fuss. He even started to consider the little girl. Since you're interested in this place, why don't you come along and take a look? Seeing that she couldn't refuse, the little girl could only lower her head in embarrassment. However, from my perspective, isn't this clearly the legendary love at first sight? Regardless, she'll definitely end up in Xian Wang's bed. Feeling my scrutinizing gaze, the little girl's heart pounded. She quietly inquired about me with the servants. She didn't know until she asked. This woman, in order to please Xian Wang, actually took it upon herself to attack all the women in the capital. She didn't even spare the family dog. Is this older sister going to hit me? If she mistakenly thinks I have something going on with Xian Wang, won't my ashes be scattered to the winds? Absolutely not. I have to find a way to resolve this. Older sister, what a coincidence. We've run into each other twice in this place. Yes. The princess is utterly adorable, truly unforgettable. Watching this scene of instant camaraderie before him, the little girl's father burst into tears. Sob. Saw my daughter has finally made a friend. And our Xian Wang also had a look of relief. Since you two are getting along so well, why don't you go somewhere else together? After saying that, he didn't forget to give me a you-know-what-I-mean look. But I don't know. However, this isn't bad. At least I'm away from Xian Wang. A moment later, we were strolling down the street. In such an awkward situation, naturally, I, the master of conversation, had to step in. I said, "Princess, have you eaten?" "Yes, I have." "What about you?" "What a coincidence." "I have too." After a moment of awkward silence, we both instantly died of embarrassment. Isn't this the classic scene of two socially awkward people interacting? No, if this continues, we'll end up digging ourselves a 3-bedroom apartment out of sheer awkwardness. I said, "Princess, what kind of man do you like?" Here it comes, the dreaded death question. As long as I make up a random image that has nothing to do with Xian Wang, I'll be fine. Sob, of course, the kind with tan skin, short hair, and well-developed muscles. Hey, that's not right. Aren't you describing that guy from the play? But you don't like him at all. What about you, older sister? Well, I suppose the handsome and mature type. Someone who seems cold, but is actually very gentle. Hearing this, the little girl was dumbfounded. Are you sure that's Xian Wang? Isn't that just someone you made up? Just then, Feiyu passed by and greeted me. The servants hurriedly stepped forward to explain. Apparently, the furnace exploded while refining pills earlier, so this Miss Rome is making it up to Xian Wang. That's too much. To curry favor with Xian Wang, she actually forced her sister to refine pills. Look how angry it made Sister Feiyu. Ning Xian isn't with me. He's actually out shopping with her. This girl must be eliminated. Elsewhere, after hearing the servant's report, Zai was a little upset. Xian Wang actually made Feiyu responsible for their pills. Could it be we have a traitor on our side too? But since Xian Wang and Adu have made contact, it means that guy is about to make his move. Go tell them we'll arrange for officers later. As for whether it succeeds or not, it depends on his own abilities. One is the future princess consort, the other a neighboring kingdom's princess, who will be the target of the enemy's assassination. Thanks to Xian Wang's arrangements, little girl and I are strolling cluelessly through the streets. Dark forces are stirring somewhere. I know all this, but the plot isn't unfolding quite like the one I saw. In a blink of an eye, I was forcibly transported to another scene. Could this be the legendary Lucky Mirror? Princess, how do we get here? Weren't you leading the way? Looking at the familiar layout of the shop, I knew his comeback was imminent. Just as I was about to make a run for it, a pang of guilt struck me. After all, I brought him here. Even though I can't disrupt the plot, I can't just abandon him. My conscience wouldn't allow it. Princess, it's not safe outside either. Let's go back soon. Seeing the princess looking a bit villainous, she said, "My attendants are the best warriors in the village. How could they possibly? They'll be defeated by a few thugs dropping from the sky." However, it turns out paper tigers aren't reliable. Before little girl could react, the men in black raised their knives and swung at her. I dodged, grabbed little girl, and started running. Damn, the door is blocked. Seriously, who did you piss off? Is it too late to apologize now? I'm at my wit's end. They're clearly here for you. Impossible, absolutely impossible. I haven't offended anyone here. You're the one who beat up all the young ladies in the capital. I was speechless. You guys decide. Do you want her or me? Lady, at least show some respect for us bandits. We're here for the princess. Hearing this, the princess wasn't happy. She pulled out her lightning 5-chain whip and lashed out at the enemy. Those in the know understand, this thing is usually useless. My limited edition 5-chain whip. Master Ma himself used this. Boss, what about the other woman? Orders are to avoid trouble. Just kill them. After some international friendly greetings, I grabbed little girl and ran towards the window. Facing the incoming axe, I jumped onto a cart with a flash. The axe performed a graceful aerial rotation, 3.5 turns. And successfully launched the 200-pound girl into the air using a single pivot point. She then crashed straight into the roof. But then something unbelievable happened. My beautiful lady, will you be my wife? Do you know how charming Ming Xian is? Anyone could cuckold the prince. Just now, the assassin chasing us broke into the house with an axe. And then something unbelievable happened. My beautiful lady, will you be my wife? His name is Tarun. He's the 6th prince of the Indic kingdom. His country borders little girls, so there's constant conflict between them. However, in the story, Tarun falls in love at first sight with little girl. But because little girl is devoted to Xian Wang, Tarun has to let her go and deal with more serious matters. So, handsome, it's impossible between us. Little girl said, trembling if you don't mind. Honey, I'm going to die. What kind of suggestive talk is this? Not even a second later, they're already flirting. They've even discussed baby names. A girl will be as lively as you, and a boy as strong as you. Looking at this scene, 1,000 alpacas stampeded through my mind. This is just ridiculously absurd. Beyond absurd. This isn't how the script goes. Stop improvising. Ming Xian, you don't understand. This is called love. And they started showing off their affection again. Wake up. We're being chased. As soon as I finished speaking, the men in black dropped down from the roof. And swear to tear little girl limb from limb. Don't worry, my dear. I'll handle everything. Even a dog would shake its head at this scene. With Tarun's command, 5 burly men surrounded the assassins. What followed was a brutal beatdown. How dare you break my lightning 5-strike whip? How dare you bully my wife? Kill them. Fine, whatever, I don't care. A moment later, little girl introduced me to Tarun. This is Ning Xian. Thanks to her, I escaped the assassins and flew into the house where I met you. Then, holding my hand, she said affectionately, from now on, you're my best friend. A warmth spread through me as I looked at our clasped hands. Seeing this, Tarun asked about the assassins. Little girl, however, knew nothing. Although I knew who was behind it, it was difficult to say, because it was little girl's own uncle aiming for the prince's title. Meanwhile, upon hearing of the assassination's failure, Zai Zai was furious. It's that Ming Xian again. Was there any other news afterwards? Our men overheard something in the room. Ming Xian said something about Tarun being love at first sight, and Tarun said something about being fortunate to meet her. Then, Tarun's men treated Ming Xian with the utmost respect. Hearing this, Zai Zai exclaimed, I get it. It must be the Prince of Indic who fell in love with Ming Xian at first sight. Spread the news. I want to see how Xian Wang reacts. Within Xian Wang's mansion, Your Highness, rumors outside say Miss Rong is cheating on you. Rumors are started by fools and believed by idiots. While being chased by assassins, we accidentally flew into the residence of a neighboring kingdom's prince and escaped. The princess even fell in love with Tarun at first sight. However, spoken without thought, heard with intent. The clever Zai Zai twisted these words to his advantage. Xian Wang was discussing international trade with Adu when a subordinate from the Wu He kingdom burst through the door. Your Highness, it's terrible. I was knocked unconscious. When I woke up, I vaguely saw that the princess was taken away by that woman, surnamed Rome. The princess's father's face turned green. My daughter, although I want you to make friends, that it's definitely not that kind of intimate friendship. Haha, if this is true, I'll eat shit standing on my head. Your Highness, it's bad. Rumors are saying Miss Rome is cheating on you. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. As likely as the national team winning the World Cup. What happened to my wife? They say Miss Rome took the princess to the Yijian and met the Prince of Indic. Then they started saying you were cheated on. Enraged, Xian Wang immediately gathered his men to catch them in the act. Meanwhile, I was happily enjoying the sweet, newly formed couple's lovey-dovey behavior. Just then, a guard rushed in to inform Tarun of the emergency. Tarun understood and didn't forget to flirt before leaving. Brother, how can you fall in love at first sight? I don't understand. Sister Ming Xian, don't you think a princess being carried from the sky is like destiny? Just like my sister and brother-in-law's love. It must be a gift from fate. This made me think. According to the script, little girl should like Xian Wang. Their only interaction was on the 9th floor. And little girl loves climbing walls. Could it be that she was supposed to fall and be caught by Xian Wang in a princess carry, leading to love at first sight? Did I steal Xian Wang's scene that day? What the heck? It's not my fault, is it? Was it because I was there? Princess, please listen to me calmly. Little Luo, I really didn't mean to do that. Neither did Xian Wang. Anyway, I didn't intentionally make you not fall for Xian Wang. Do you understand? Just then, the princess's father burst through the door. However, what greeted his eyes was a scene of blossoming lilies. No, you two can't be together. But before that could settle, another wave arose. Seeing his beloved pinned down by a strange man, Tarun was furious. You bastard, let her go. He unleashed a surge of spiritual energy at the man. But the next moment, Xian Wang blocked it, so eager to silence us. The Wei Kingdom doesn't take me seriously. Wei claims to be just, yet turns a blind eye to this. Then I'll take matters into my own hands. Elsewhere, Zai Zai was overjoyed to hear that Xian Wang and Tarun had come to blows. After all, what man could remain calm after being cuckolded? Quickly, make a big fuss about this. It's best to drag the first prince into this mess too, so he can be punished for negligence of duty. Meanwhile, in the first prince's palace, word arrived. Xian Wang and Tarun are fighting over a due. What could make a young woman cry out in such anguish? And what could cause two unfamiliar men to come to blows? For some unknown reason, Xian Wang and Tarun inexplicably started fighting. Even Xian Wang's personal guards were caught in the crossfire. Bing Bing, why are they fighting? Bing Bing replied melancholically, it's because of the rumors that you eloped with the princess. Oh, I'm completely baffled by this. It's all a misunderstanding. Go stop them. But, my lord, Xian Wang could take on Tenemy with one hand. This Bing Bing is useless. I'll handle it myself. She then took a deep breath and yelled, stop. Both of you, stop fighting. However, her cries were weak. Seeing this, Bing Bing pulled out his treasured megaphone. You have this thing, and you're not even using it. Although unsure if they would listen, she figured Tarun would heed little girl's words. She then scooped up little girl. Stop it, both of you. If you don't stop, we'll elope. No, what are you doing? No, listen to me. After some explanation, the two men understood the situation. One was a man who thought his fiancée had been stolen. The other, a son-in-law who almost beat up his father-in-law. Such heroic men naturally admired each other. The two valiant figures shamelessly engaged in mutual flattery. How did those two become friends so quickly? I don't understand and I don't want to. Hearing that little girl had been attacked, Adu rushed over to check on her, determined to make the assassins pay. I don't want to interfere with the plot, but those poor guys actually want to silence me. How can I tolerate that? I finally decided to stay out of it, and you make me lose so completely. Don't blame me for what happens next. Unwilling to be completely ignorant of the plot, I just needed to subtly guide them to find the villain. Let's see how I perform. I pointed at the assassin's weapons and declared, these weapons are rare in most countries. It seems they are weapons commonly used in Hawu. So, those assassins are from Hawu. I can't hide it from you any longer. Your uncle has long wanted to usurp your grandfather's title of prince. I never thought he would be so ruthless. Xian Wang agreed. In that case, I'll send someone to the embassy to investigate discreetly and see if there are any clues. Seeing such a capable protagonist group, I was speechless. As expected, with protagonist matters like these, whatever happens, happens. It has nothing to do with me, the villainous female supporting character. What kind of flower could cause such a struggle between various factions? After careful deduction by the protagonist team, the investigation successfully identified the suspect. Clearly, these matters have nothing to do with me, the villainous female supporting character. I'm puzzled. You're all so clever now. Why were you all played like fiddles in the original story? But all joking aside, there's something I need to confirm. I casually inquired about the tribute from Indic. That's right, our tribute is the rare spiritual plant that blooms only once every 10 years. Hearing the name Golden Bayek, little girl's eyes lit up, eager for a glimpse. This little girl wasn't raised in vain. with a command from Tarun. A golden, vibrant flower was revealed to everyone. Such a beautiful flower. What girl wouldn't want to touch it? However, Tarun stopped her. Although the flower can enhance cultivation, its stem is highly poisonous. It will cause anyone who touches it to die in agony. So, you need to take safety precautions when handling it. He then easily put a protective glove on little girl. The golden flower looked so delicate in the girl's hand. With a snap, the flower broke. Oh no, I didn't mean to. Tarun panicked. It's okay. I'll send someone back home to get another one. It should still be in time. Just then, Tarun's attention was drawn to the unusual appearance of the flower's pistil. This flower isn't our tribute. I'm not surprised. After all, it's already been switched. Meanwhile, Zai was carefully examining the pistil from the flower that had been intercepted, as expected of the fourth prince's subordinates. Such swift action is only natural. But are you sure your counterfeit won't be discovered? Little girl confidently assured him. That counterfeit is more real than the real thing. Besides, Golden Bay pistols are extremely delicate. Even if they inspect it, they'll at most open the box for a look. There's absolutely no foolish little darling who would dare touch it directly. Zai, also fully convinced, then inquired about the subordinates who had failed in the assassination attempt. Don't worry, young master. Their families are all in my hands. After briefly discussing the matter, little girl's uncle took his leave. Seeing this, Zai turned to little scoundrel, who was standing to one side. Now that the flower has arrived, I'll leave the rest to you. Be careful when extracting the poison. Little scoundrel bowed in acknowledgement. Xian Wang, is it? Just you wait. Elsewhere, a scout, having finished gathering intelligence, rushed to Feiyu with urgent news. I hear an envoy from a neighboring kingdom has brought some incredibly rare treasures.